It's the final Saturday night game of the season here at Doran Park, and it brings in the top team in the Cape Cod League East to match up with the top team in the Cape Cod League West. Welcome to Before the Bravos. Calvin Cristoforo, joined as always by Nick Galley, looking as sharp as ever in his Saturday Reds. Look at him.
Hey, give me a handshake for that one.
He's had a little bit of a tough week, Nick Galley, but he's recovering, and the best way to recover is being back at the ballpark after a two-night layoff, which seems like forever. When you're playing games like every night, it truly does. Natural off day on Thursday, off day last night due to the rain. It was actually sunny around game time, but field wasn't ready to go, so the Hyannis Harbor Hawks never got on the bus and came to Doran Park. That game was actually canceled pretty early in the afternoon.
Very early.
So that game didn't happen. We'll get Hyannis on Monday, and then Tuesday, and then Wednesday. So we'll get our fix of the Harbor Hawks coming up soon, but tonight it's the Yarmouth-Dennis Red Sox, the last team the Braves haven't faced. So after tonight, all 9 other teams will be checked off the Braves list, and this is a YD team, Nick. That's the top team in the CCBL East.
You got two powerhouses going against each other tonight. This is going to be a good one, too. It's going to be interesting to see if the Braves can have a really, really good game at home. We haven't really seen a great game at home yet where the offense and pitching is clicking. So hopefully they can do that tonight against the best team in the East.
Yeah, it should be really fun when the fans are filing in very quickly. We got a big crowd here, right about 20 minutes.
It's a huge crowd.
Yeah, right in front of 20 minutes before first pitch. The fans are packed in here pretty tight. You mentioned not having a complete game at home. I think that's exactly right. I mean, the most complete game, I don't even know. Was it Hyannis at home?
It might have been the last game against Falmouth, maybe.
4-2, but still 7.
It's still, yeah. You had 6 innings where you just pretty much no hit.
Yeah,
1 hit or 2 hits.
The Braves have put together some very complete performances on the road. Game 2 of the season against Brewster, the 9-2 game in Katuitt. So they've had some games on the road. Hopefully they can put it all together here for the first time at home. But like we said, a YD team that comes in playing very good baseball, coming off a loss to Harwich on Thursday night. So they're ready to get back in the win column. YD is 4 ties on the season, 3 ties for the Braves. So hopefully tonight's game doesn't end with the same score.
I don't want another tie, Calvin. I mean, come on now. You can't tie in baseball. You can in this scenario. But
7 combined ties between these two teams.
That is yucky. I mean, that's just when you think of baseball, you don't think of ties. I understand the rules this year with the ties, but
yeah, nobody wants a tie.
I don't like it.
A tie's better than a loss. You got to give it that.
It is. It's better than a loss, but at the same time, win or lose, that's the beauty of baseball,
Or tie.
Or tie. All right.
Okay.
You're playing a
I'm not,
devil's advocate over here.
I'm not playing any game here. I'm just saying it
sounds like you're playing some games.
Better than a loss, but the Braves don't want to lose tonight,
No.
and that's why they're sending Austin Parsley out to the mound. This guy has been stellar, getting his first start of the season. All his other performances have been out of the bullpen, where he is quite frankly dominated. He's not going to overpower you with the fastball. That's not his game, but it really seems like when he's on the mound, he can put it wherever he wants to.
I mean, he spots pitches beautifully, and we've seen that out of the bullpen so far this year. It's going to be interesting to see how he looks in a starting role right now. And he's one of these guys that I'm sure Coach Harvey Shapiro is coming in saying, all right, Parsley, you've done good in the bullpen in kind of an extended bullpen role because he's thrown, 3-4 innings in outings before.
Both times,
So obviously, as we've seen, Harvey Shapiro likes to put his starters out there for 3-4 innings, sometimes 5. That's kind of the longest we've seen them. But if he can do that out of the bullpen, I'm sure he can do that in a starting role. He's going to be one of these guys that's filling in for guys like Gordon Graceffo, guys like Nick Zwack, who are now out of here for the draft, and Peter Van Loon as well, who we saw in a starting role as well. One start, he got 1 start, and then came out of the bullpen in his last outing. But it's going to be interesting to see how he can do in this new role, but I'm looking forward to it.
Well, you say it's a new role, but this is a guy who's made starts. He was in the starting rotation.
But not on the Cape yet.
For UNC Greensboro, that's the same thing. When I talked to Nick Zwack early in the season, I asked him, is the preparation different? He came out of the bullpen. It was the first game of the year against Hyannis. Is the preparation any different? He goes, no, this is actually the first time I pitched out of the bullpen, and I don't even know when, because he's been used to making starts. I'm sure the same as Austin Parsley. His first time, 2 times in appearance, sure they were out of the bullpen, but I do not think at all that his preparation changes because he's been starting all season long.
I don't think it changes, so to say, but I always look at it in this aspect. When you have a guy in the Cape League come out of the bullpen versus starting. You come out of the bullpen, it's mid-game. Guys might be a little tired depending on when it is in the game. And then you go into a start, and in this league, guys 1 through 9 are D1 college players. They can all hit. If you come out of the bullpen, I mean, you might start deeper in the order, might be. So, I don't know. It's one of those. It's just a mental thing for me. I mean, it's always in the back of my mind. Like, I feel it's probably not too much of an adjustment for these guys at the level they're playing. But in the back of my mind, sometimes I just think, is it going to be different? Is it not? Who knows? Because as we know, we've talked a lot about settling in, getting your footing here in the Cape League. You never know. Sometimes a guy like Austin Parsley might have his footing as a reliever now, and then he comes out and a start might be a little different. But I'm sure he'll be fine with the adjustment. We'll have to see what happens.
Okay, fair enough. You know what else? Another thing that might be uncomfortable. I was looking off camera here because something caught me out of the corner of my eye and had to do a double take. YD is wearing white uniforms tonight.
Yeah, I was talking with, was it Zach Agnos that I was talking? Who was it? Someone came up to me before the game, and I think it was Agnos. Hey, he's like, are they wearing whites? I was like, I surely hope not, because I'm not going to be able to tell who's who.
So the Braves in the white jerseys, you'll see it when the game starts, but white jerseys, white bottoms, at home as always, with the red letters and numbers. But YD has white tops, white bottoms, blue letters and numbers. So that could get a little bit interesting. That's going to be a problem, maybe. For you, the viewers at home, shouldn't be too much of a problem for the players on the field and Austin Parsley on the mound. But let's check out the lineup around Austin Parsley as we always do on this Before the Bravos pregame show. We'll go through the Bourne Braves lineup top to bottom, and it starts with Joe Lampe, who's in the leadoff spot again, where he's been all season long playing in center field. Yeah,
Joe Lampe. We talk about him being the spark plug. He kind of had a bounce back game last time out, if I'm correct. After kind of looking a little bit rough around the edges the past few times. I know he had that pinch hit performance in Orleans the other night, which was just a beautiful bunt, beautiful hustle. You'll have to see that, but that's what you get out of Joe Lampe, and hopefully we see more of that tonight.
Hopefully we do. It's kind of a different lineup with Harvey Shapiro. Kyler Fedko is gone. He will not be back as he prepares for the MLB draft. So this is a little bit of a different lineup. Joe Lampe's leading off. Max Anderson now slides into the number 2 spot at the designated hitter position. That's where he was in the game in Orleans. He's back there tonight.
I love Max Anderson. I mean, this kid. I mean, you can put this kid anywhere in the lineup. It seems like
he is an everyday starter for this team. Unless Coach Shapiro wants to give him one day off somewhere, this guy is going to start every night. He'll probably split when he's at third base. Agnos will have the night off. When Agnos is at third base, you can't give Max Anderson the night off, so he'll probably be a DH.
I mean, yeah, you just put him anywhere in the lineup. You put him wherever you want to in the field. We haven't seen him at first yet. I think we might see that soon, honestly, because as I said, Coach Kevin Graber was working with him over at first.
What doesn't Coach Kevin Graber do?
He does everything. I mean, he just does everything. He's a Swiss Army knife. So
he was throwing batting practice. No BP on the field today because it was wet. So he was in the batting cage for probably an hour and 20 minutes.
The death trap down there?
Just picking up the ball and throwing it. He's got a rubber eye. He does everything for this team, assistant coach Kevin Graber. We're very happy to have him.
Oh, great to have him.
Hopefully he got Max Anderson coached up over there at first base.
So, yeah, I want to see him at first sometime, and that'll be interesting. But at the plate, I mean, just fun to watch. I don't have to say he's a good hitter. Everyone knows he's a good hitter. It's like you can only say so much about a guy batting over 400 right now.
Yeah, he hits the ball hard seemingly every time he's at the plate. He's not at first base tonight. He's DHing because the first baseman hits behind him. That's the left-handed bat of Dalton Rushing.
Dalton Rushing is finding what seems to be a nice groove right now. His swings looked really good all year, and now the hits are starting to come. So, again, I'd like to see him go opposite field more. He's definitely a pull hitter, a pull-happy hitter. Once he adds that to his game, I mean, this is going to be a guy that goes to the next level and beyond. So Dalton Rushing has been great. In the 3-hole, he's been great, and it's been nice to see with Reggie Crawford gone.
Yeah, Dalton Rushing, you mentioned he's playing well. You mentioned, coming around a little bit. Caden Wallace, he's been up and down. Hopefully he continues to be more up, though. He's hitting fourth tonight. He's in right field.
Guy with a ton of upside, and that was known. Coming from a program like Arkansas when he first got here, that was known that he has a ton of upside, and he's shown flashes of greatness right out here in Bourne. And there's times where, he looks a little rough, and again, I've talked with him a lot, and he said, I'm still adjusting. I'm still getting used to it. I'm still kind of trying to get my footing here in the Cape. And, that's a different period for everyone, as we pretty much say every time here on the show, I think, because these guys are coming and going, and they're all adjusting. So Caden Wallace, one of those guys that once he really does put it all together, he's going to be uber productive for this team, and definitely a solidified 4-hitter, cleanup spot. I mean, this is a guy you want there.
Absolutely. This is definitely a guy who's going to be a major bat in this Braves lineup going forward. The guy who hits behind him, you can say the same about, and that is Zach Agnos playing tonight at third base. He's starting to get hot a little bit. That game in Orleans where he had the double and the triple, drove in both runs. He's starting to catch some fire, and hopefully he can keep that going tonight.
Yeah, I mean, if you get production from Zach Agnos, I mean, that's just offensive production, I should say. I mean, that's just like icing on the cake, considering his defense. So
yeah,
you'd love to see this guy get going. And, if you get the ECU guys going, honestly, Josh Moreland had a huge clutch hit the other day. So get the ECU guys going. You're going to see a lot of success. And Zach Agnos, I mean, he's starting to pick it up a little bit on the offensive side of things. So it's been good to see him have some success at the plate.
Yeah, it's been good to see him there. He's been in the 5 spot a lot. And this is where the lineup gets a little bit funky because Christian Knapczyk, we usually see him in the 2 spot. He's been down in the 9 spot. He's hitting 6th tonight behind Zach Agnos. What do you think of that move?
Well, I know he was dealing with that illness not too long ago, so maybe that could be that. I'm not 100% sure. Maybe just trying to get him a new look. Maybe get a little bit of middle of the order spark going. I'm not 100% sure.
Do you like the 6th spot for Christian? That sounds like a
no.
That
not really.
Like a no.
Honestly, not really, because he's not a power guy. He's a guy that kind of slaps the ball around, goes to the opposite field, makes things happen on the base paths too. So he's kind of a guy I like at the top of the order or at the bottom, to kind of ignite the offense for the top of the order. So I don't know. This is an interesting move. Maybe, honestly, this is the only way I can think of this. The way Bourne's offense has been, we've seen them struggling to put things together.
Okay.
So I'm assuming. This is honestly my assumption
this
here.
Is an assumption.
Nick Galley,
an on-record assumption.
It's an assumption. I heard nothing.
It's on record.
From any sources.
Besides the one you have.
But I heard nothing from my sources here. But I'm thinking, obviously we've seen guys get on base and then just nothing happen afterwards. So I'm thinking maybe 5-hitter gets on, 4 or 5 hitters get on, Christian Knapczyk, drag bunt. Move the guys over, get something going. I don't know. That's what I'm thinking. Middle of the lineup guys have been getting on. No one's been able to move them over. Christian Knapczyk, move him over, bunt. That's what I'm thinking, honestly.
Okay, I disagree with you.
That's fine.
I don't think that Harvey Shapiro is writing Christian Knapczyk in the 6th spot to bunt.
No, I'm just saying to move him over.
Okay, to move him over. I think
it doesn't have to be a bunt.
Exactly. That's why I think he's another guy who can keep the line.
We might see that tonight though, because we've seen him bunting a lot. He's been scoring a lot.
You remember that game against Falmouth on Wednesday? Colton Bender, he hit in the 5 spot, I believe, failed to put a bunt down, and then Colby Thomas, who went behind him, got the bunt down. Then Josh Moylan drove in the 2 runs. But if Colton Bender would have gotten that bunt down, it would have been first and third, second and third, with 1 out instead of 2. So
I think here's my prediction. I think we're seeing Christian Knapczyk bunt tonight.
Okay,
I'm saying it.
It's been part of his game. It's not he's never bunted all season, but that could be something I see. But I don't think that is the number one reason.
It might not be the number one reason, but that could be in the back of his mind.
Okay,
that's what I'm thinking.
That's fair.
That's
fair.
I don't coach the team, but that's what I'm thinking right there. So
interesting take
I
by
just
Nick
write
Galley.
about it.
Okay, interesting take by Nick Galley. So Christian Knapczyk hits 6th. Maybe he's moving those runners over for Colby Thomas, who hits 7th. He's in left field.
So Colby Thomas had been popping the ball up a lot. I think it was last pregame
show.
Ball
down.
And what did he do? Doubled right down the left field line, right? So that's what he had to do. He did it. I mean, kudos. Maybe I should be coaching the team. I don't know. I definitely should not be. No. But that's what he has to do. See the ball low. Keep seeing the ball low. Get it on the ground. You'll start to get those line drives, too, eventually, and that's when you start hitting gaps, and that's when the production comes.
Maybe he'll get some of that more production going. Hopefully he sees, continues to see his pitches and not pop the ball up. I keep thinking about Christian Knapczyk in the 6th spot, and the more I think about it, the more I like it. The more I think about it, the more I like it. Not necessarily to bunt but what does he do? He puts the ball in play.
Yeah, he does.
And that's where a 6-hitter, because you're assuming your 3, 4, 5 guys are going to get on base. And Christian Knapczyk's going to put the ball in play. That's what the more I think about it, the more I like the
I will say maybe it's not just a bunt there, but it is definitely to
keep the runners in motion.
Keep the line moving.
Yes.
No doubt about it.
Yeah, so he's hit 6, Colby Thomas 7. Peter Burns, it was an off night on Wednesday, which means he's back behind the plate tonight.
Local kid. I know his family's here tonight, so I'm sure he wants to show off for them and probably have one of the shortest drives of anyone on this team. I can tell you that. You got guys from literally all over the country. They're right down the street pretty much, so I'm sure they're glad to be here tonight. Hopefully Peter Burns can just continue to do what he's been doing, especially defensively.
Absolutely.
We've loved to watch him defensively, and his offense is starting to come around too, which is great to see, and I'm sure he's got some confidence after getting signed to that permanent contract a few days back. So Peter Burns behind the dish. Peter Burns and Colton Bender have just both been phenomenal.
Well, he had that hard line drive in the game against Orleans up the middle. That's a base hit. The Dalton Rushing and the rest of the guys down there in the field are taking a picture with an oversized baseball glove. So
I think it's that guy throwing the first pitch.
The gentleman throwing at the first pitch tonight has brought a A big oversized glove, and they're taking some photos down and with on the field as we're getting you set for first pitch between the Bourne Braves and the Yarmouth Dennis Red Sox here on Before the Bravos, our Braves pregame show. We're down to the 9th spot in the order. Tanner Schobel has the off night tonight, which means the second baseman is Nick Goodwin.
He looked really good the other night in Orleans.
Couple of base hits. Yep.
Multi-hit game, which was really, really good to see from him, a guy that was struggling a little bit. And that's what Nick Goodwin needed, I think. So I'm interested to see if he can build off this tonight. If I'm Nick Goodwin, I'm saying, you know what, I'm in the 9th spot. I'm coming off a multi-hit game. Let me get things going for the top of the order.
Yep.
You don't want to see him fall back into another slide. So he just needs to use the momentum that he picked up from the other night in Orleans to tonight, carry that over, and just ride the wave.
That'd be great.
That's my new saying. Just ride the wave.
Ride the wave. Little Cape Cod League term.
It's good, yeah. I mean, that's really good.
A little bit of a ride the wave surfer type action.
I'm just telling you.
Who do you think the best surfer on the team would be?
Oh, definitely Agnos. Are you kidding me?
What?
It's got it. The hair. Or reeling, maybe? The hair.
So the hair.
They got the surfer hair.
Is the hair a prerequisite?
You have to have. You kidding me? You don't see me surfing, do you?
I mean, it's aerodynamic.
Nah, man. See, I'm starting to get the Cape look though. I got the mustache, the beard going. You guys have never seen me clean shaved on the face.
That's the Cape look.
For me, it is. It's the Italian Cape look.
Okay. So
I just sit out all day grilling Italian sausages, peppers, onions.
I don't know why, but I have a feeling that Josh Moylan would be a good surfer.
Well, he's got the hair too.
He doesn't have the hair.
It's the hair.
There's nothing.
You didn't name Joe Lampe. You didn't name Knapcheck. I mean, it's the hair. Whether you like it or not, subconsciously you know it's the hair.
He doesn't. I mean,
no, it's subconsciously you know it's the hair.
Subconsciously.
I don't want to even hear it, man.
Anybody's hair.
It is. It is.
The Braves lineup starts to get announced behind us. All right, let's give me your pick.
Colby Thomas too. He has good hair for surfing. My pick to pop tonight. I'm going to go Max Anderson. I like him in the 2 spot. Were you going to pick Anderson?
No, I'm just saying that's kind of a generic pick.
No.
Max Anderson straight up rakes.
Come on, man. I need a win. You're catching up to me.
It's 3-2, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I'm going Christian Knapczyk.
Okay, I like it. What did we have last time? Who did we have last time?
I had Colby Thomas.
We called it a tie, didn't we?
Called it a tie. You had
someone who had 2 hits. I forget. Was it rushing?
I forget who it was. I had Colby Thomas, though.
I think I had rushing. He had a couple hits.
I'm going with Christian Knapczyk tonight. I think he gets at least 2 RBIs.
Ladies and gentlemen.
As we now pause here for the national anthem. Those are our picks to pop. Nick Galley and Calvin Cristoforo. This has been Bourne Braves. Before the Bravos, our Braves pregame show. Daniel, Coates, and Reeves Jackson have the call in just a second. Enjoy the game, everybody.
The Braves have beaten or tied every single team in the Cape Cod Baseball League this year except for one. And that one is waiting in the wings tonight in the form of the Yarmouth Dennis Red Sox. They are first place in the Eastern Division as we welcome you into Doran Park. Reeves Jackson and Daniel Coates, happy to be with you after what felt like a week was just ended up being 2 off days after the Thursday planned off day, Daniel, and obviously the rain out yesterday after we had some strong winds from Hurricane Elsa was turned into a tropical storm. But happy to have the field dry and back at the ballpark today, looking to pick up our 11th win and keep things rolling.
Yeah, have to tip your cap to the people taking care of this field. It looks incredible. Top conditions, I have to say, for 2 days of complete rain in what they call Lake Doran. So unbelievable conditions here tonight, and it turned out to be really a gorgeous, kind of crisp night. For the first time this season, we have wind going towards that right field foul pole, so we could be seeing another opportunity for the Braves to be explosive with the bats tonight.
Well, tonight's starting pitcher, Daniel, is a guy who's been only seen in relief this year, and it's the right-hander from UNC Greensboro, Austin Parsley. Leads his team with 14 strikeouts. What else can you say about the right-hander who's been excellent on the bump so far?
God, I mean, that says it all, you know. Sitting at 14 with those strikeouts, he's really going to be another guy to step in for people like Nick Zawak and Gordon Graceffo. Even in the next coming days, Hunter Olmwood will be on the bump against Chatham at Chatham tomorrow, and after that, Ben Etheridge to start. So you're starting to see a bit of diversification as far as the bullpen and the starters. So it will be interesting to see how he does tonight. But if there's any indication, Parsley is going to be another efficient Bourne Brave to start off this game.
Well, the defense behind Parsley tonight will look this way, left to right. Colby Thomas, Joe Lampe, Caden Wallace, third to first. Zach Agnos, Christian Knapczyk back in the lineup. We're happy to see that. Nick Goodwin at second, Dalton Rushing at first. And the battery combination of Boston College catcher Peter Burns and the righty Austin Parsley. We have a crowd on our hands tonight, do we? On Kids Night here at the ballpark at Doran Park. Peyton Graham, the leadoff hitter, and the first pitch he sees is a ball inside to the YD Red Sox at first place, a record of 7-4-4 in the what you could call tight race in the Eastern Division, and these guys at the center. Joe Lampe on his horse. He goes back a few steps shy of the warning track. He makes the catch one away.
A good piece of hitting there to start things off by Graham, but Parsley getting out of that early and Joe Lampe making a routine fly ball, and you can see that the wind is already affecting that ball flight. It really took a couple more feet.
We talked about it before the and before the Bravos, Daniel, but usually the wind blowing out to left center. Tonight, just the opposite. First time we've really seen it all year blow out to right center field as the left fielder Smith steps in and takes a strike.
Well, we've experienced it firsthand. You know, as our VP Jenna-Beth Ferguson says, you know, it's canal weather.
It sure is.
It's you can't predict it. You don't know what's coming. And we've experienced that against games like Brewster and Harwich. We had a lightning delay, so we've gotten all the elements thrown at us.
Knapczyk busy early over at short as Tanner Smith lines out to him. There are 2 away quickly for Parsley, one of the league's leading pitchers, as Cody Huff, first baseman, out of the right-handed box, will step in a first pitch breaking ball. It feels so nice to be at the park. It really just felt like more than 2 days. Last time we played was a 4-2 comeback win against the Falmouth Commodores. As the only team we have yet to see, as I mentioned, here in Yarmouth, Dennis. So great to have all the fans back on a Saturday night. First pitch right around 6:02. 70 degrees here in Bourne, Massachusetts.
I had to get my quarter zip out. It's getting a little chilly.
Yeah, I might have to throw the hoodie on a little later.
And Colton Bender behind the plate, taking over for, I should say, Peter Burns taking over for Colton Bender now from Boston College behind the plate. Both of these guys, you can't say enough, they signed contracts. That's going to do it.
Yeah, strike 3 on the swing there of Cody Huff. Austin Parsley, you can't get much better than that. Looking like the top of the first, the last time these Bravos were out on the field versus Falmouth. Now the Bats will try to get it done in a scoreless game here from Bourne. Reeves Jackson, Daniel Coates, happy to have you back with us on a beautiful night for baseball. It was a little questionable to begin this day whether the field would be playable enough, but Nolan McCarthy toes the rubber, bottom of the first. Joe Lampe leading things off for the Braves. A first pitch breaking ball finds his own. The starting lineup for your Bravos tonight looks like this. Joe Lampe leading off in center, batting second, the DH Max Anderson. Third at first is Dalton Rushing. Fourth, the right fielder Caden Wallace. Batting fifth at third is Zach Agnos. Sixth, the shortstop moving down in the order tonight is Christian Knapczyk. Seventh, the left fielder Colby Thomas. Batting eighth and doing the catching is Peter Burns. And batting ninth, he had a two-hit game. In his last start against Falmouth Wednesday, it's Nick Goodwin. As Lampe shoots one right back up the middle, and that's going to get through past the diving Compton. And Joe Lampe, the speedy center fielder, aboard to lead off the bottom of the first.
I was just going to say, I think Joe Lampe really is in for a big night at the top of the order. He had two infield singles. It wasn't the best piece of hitting that last game, and that was a really, really good way to start, but he had two infield singles, which shows that he can do it either way, even if he can't get the barrel on the bat that day. And Max Anderson from Nebraska, he has moved all the way up in this order. He's only played 6 games.
Lampe on the move, first pitch, and yes, sir, he's in there with a slide. Speed kills, ladies and gentlemen, and Joe Lampe in scoring position. One pitch into Max Anderson's AB.
That's why he had 16 stolen bases at Santa Rosa and why he had 6 this past season with the Sun Devils of Arizona State. Every time he gets on base, you have to be on your toes as a defender. And the pitcher, and he's not really giving him a look there at second, and Joe Lampe's dancing.
Here's the 1-0. Misses outside to Anderson. Max Anderson had that big double off DeFabia down the left field line. I should say into left field. Wasn't necessarily down the line, but it really catalyzed things for these Bravos, and which led to him advancing to third on a wild pitch. Dalton Rushing later scored him on an RBI single, which later that inning set up the Josh Moylan 2-run infield single over to Cody Colden, the Falmouth shortstop. It tipped off his glove, in which Moylan would have beat the play anyways, and then Wimmer was right behind Dalton Rushing, and the Braves tacked on a 3-run 7th, added another in the 8th, and it was Xavier Lovett who closed things out, got the save in the 4-2 win. 2-1 count here from McCarthy. Breaking ball misses away. He's relying heavily on that breaking ball, Daniel, early on, something that we haven't seen from many opposing pitchers who have been reliant on their fastballs early in the season.
Yeah, and we can start even with that trend with guys that we know on the bump from the Braves. Parsley is known to just sit back and without necessarily giving us that eye-popping velocity, it's really the accuracy and the consistency and the way that they'll change it up with a breaking ball or an off-speed pitch when it is the right time. But been very impressed not only with this Braves team, but just overall the pitching I've seen this season.
Full count pitch here to Max Anderson, who we know that Kyler Fedko likely departing for the draft. He's not technically off the team yet as far as roster transactions, as Anderson draws the walk with Lampe at second, and the Braves have 2 on and nobody out here for Rushing.
Yeah, an interesting move there to go still with that breaking ball that just drifts high. But now, again, it's the same thing. You got to capitalize here, and it starts with Dalton Rushing. He has an opportunity to move Joe Lampe and Max Anderson over and advance them to scoring positions, both of them. But the Braves have left on so many runners stranded at the end of these innings. And with 0 outs, men in first and second, this is a massive opportunity.
Rushing 12 for 40, a 300 clip on the season. He delivered the blow with an RBI single, also had an RBI on a sacrifice fly in that 8th. So 2 RBIs last game as a slight jump move there from McCarthy and chases Lampe back, but no throw.
No one covering Joe Lampe, but he still has to be careful. Oftentimes those middle infielders will scurry on back and try to beat him back to the bag.
First pitch here to Rushing, and he swings and misses. A fastball, a little up in the zone, and whiffs through it. So 0-1 here to the Louisville Cardinal. Boy, we have a crowd on our hands today, don't we?
We most certainly do. On Kids Day here, I've never seen it this packed in the handful of games that we've had here at Doran. other than the opening day game, I think this really takes the cake for the most viewed game live.
0-1 to Rushing. He's going to nub this one off into shallow right. In comes Luttrell. He dives and makes an outstanding catch. Joe Lampe advances to third, but over there in right field, Chase Luttrell just saved YD from having an early bases-loaded situation and nobody down.
But Dalton did his job. Now you got to be careful if you're YD with Joe Lampe there at third. And Dalton Rushing, it won't show on the stat sheet, but that is an effective at-bat. I thought it was going to get down, but what a play by Luttrell. McCarthy has to be careful because now a wild pitch or a pass ball most surely will result in a Bourne Braves 1-0 lead. Joe Lampe there just so speedy on the base path, and he is stalking that third base line.
Well, one of the more productive hitters since he has been with the Braves after a late arrival due to his season at Arkansas. Now batting clean up a place that we'd hope to see him at some point this year. We do now here. It's Caden Wallace batting fourth in right field tonight, and he skies this one, looking to go out of play, and does.
I'll tell you what, even though that wasn't solid contact, he was right on that. He knew the speed, and I think once these guys get down that real change in pace off of McCarthy's breaking ball, that's going to be the time where we might see some 3, 4, 5 run rallies. But Caden Wallace, he's been a huge, huge pickup from Arkansas. Him and Max Anderson have really made up for the absence of Reggie Crawford.
On the road this year, YD is 3-3-1. Something to note. So pretty average all around as far as when they've been at opposing ballparks. Coming off a loss in their last contest as Wallace fights this changeup back to the screen. And on the road, something we've noted, this is a Braves team that has seemed to struggle more offensively at home than when they're on the road. Flip the script for YD, Daniel. On the road, slugging .247 as a team. That's worst in the East, not worst in the league, that just ahead of the Hyannis Harbor Hawks. But not good on the road as far as their offense is. Caden Wallace strikes out. Big breaking ball there from McCarthy. And a big second out to keep Lampe stranded over there at third.
Now batting, the third baseman from East
Yeah, again,
number 14, Zach.
that breaking ball is still deadly, and it's hard to guess on a guy like McCarthy who can really change it up, but still 2 outs, and just like that, as quick as Joe Lampe and Max Anderson got on base, now we have a 2-out situation. We're defending somewhat of a momentum swing from YD at home field, and we are so much more effective when we jump out to that early lead, so this is huge.
Agno switched through that first pitch. Another curveball who Nolan McCarthy really bending that pitch. The Georgetown right-hander. The tallest player on this team at 6'5" is Nolan McCarthy. Back-to-back-to-back breaking balls, and they've all yielded the same result. He is most notably recently signed as a Barstool athlete. Our own Braylon Wimmer is as well. No NIL rules, which gotta love the name, image, likeness. Players can now profit off of their own credibility and image that they can use. And
it's really cool to see college sports just take that new path. We're going to see a lot of new things just in general coming up on this college football season, the new college baseball season that just ended. But yeah, it's a new era of college sports, and I think it's going to be a fun one to follow because all of these players now can really step out and show who they are and who they want to be, and Nolan McCarthy has done so.
He's a fastball, curveball, slider, changeup pitcher, but from what we've seen in this first, predominantly using that breaking ball, the curveball. 1-2 here to Agnos. He goes to it again, but Zach watches 2 pitches miss in the same spot down in the other batter's box in the dirt. Good stop there from Hunter behind the plate. 2 balls and 2 strikes. It is Lampe aboard at third. He singled, stole second. Advanced to third on the rushing fly ball on a diving catch by the left-handed Luttrell in right. And 2-2 to Agno. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. So as much as McCarthy struggled to begin this first, he looks as dominant to end it as he hops over the line, and we hop into the break here as we head to the second from Doran Park.
Beach State, number 6, Chase Luttrell.
Back with you here from Doran Park, top of the second. Braves miss a scoring opportunity after getting the first 2 runners on, but I'm sure plenty of those opportunities will present themselves throughout the night. Here is Chase Luttrell, who saved that first inning quite possibly with that diving catch. Interestingly enough, Daniel, YD wearing their home white uniforms tonight, oddly enough.
A very funky scene here. I think there obviously was some miscommunication.
This one is flared into left. In comes Colby Thomas. He makes the catch. 1 down.
But you don't really ever see a road team coming in with whites, so to see both teams wearing their whites it's funny, but it doesn't, it's not a game breaker, but it is. I don't think I've ever seen
It's not
that.
like YD doesn't have grays.
No,
they do, but
who
knows? Maybe a little malfunction and forgot the wrong uniforms.
That's definitely a first for me. We actually were saying, of course they didn't bring their whites. They have to have something. And then they took the field with the whites, and here we are.
So, don't get confused who's up at the box or who's in the field. Both teams were in the whites. 1-0 here from Parsley. And this one is nubbed into shallow right. No Kyler Fedko, as we mentioned. It's Caden Wallace. And makes the catch there of Pascanel Ferraris, the shortstop. And 2 quick outs, Daniel, as Austin Parsley is moving the needle, and he's working quite fast.
Very fast, and that's a good thing for the Braves because once they start getting men on base, then YD starts getting confidence, the momentum swings. Austin Parsley proving that he is one of the most effective pitchers, and he's just sticking with that fastball and letting his defense make the plays behind him. So utmost confidence here from Austin Parsley.
Wyatt Hoffman, the second baseman, now into the batter's box and fouls this one back to the screen. On the year, Wyatt Hoffman, one of the more productive hitters in this YD lineup, 15 for 42 with 357 average. He has homered once and driven in 6. As he fouls this one away, and Austin Parsley, who came into this the first start of the season, 2-0 with 2.89 earned run average, and led the team with 14 strikeouts after 4 shutout innings of 5 strikeout, 2-hit ball against Brewster on July 1st. He just missed with a fastball there.
Here, Wyatt Hoffman with a 368 average for the YD Red Sox. That's 3rd best in the Cape Cod League. But he is susceptible to the strikeout. He is at 9 strikeouts. Austin Parsley trying to make that 10. And I thought that was a good pitch just before that foul ball. But Austin Parsley does not look afraid. He's attacking him, and he's sticking with that fastball. And, that's exactly what you have to do. Keep throwing strikes. It's what we said. That's what wins games in the Cape League.
Without a doubt. Here's the 2-2, and that one is battled back by number 3, Wyatt Hoffman. Hoffman from University of Pacific. And the 2-2 is chopped slowly over to Zach Agnos, as sure-handed as they come, and delivers over to Dalton Rushing, and that will end the frame. Austin Parsley, 6 up, 6 down, as we head to the bottom of the second from Doran Park. Bottom of the second from Doran Park. It's Christian Knapczyk who leads this team in base hits. And back in the lineup and takes a first pitch strike. I should say time for the lead with Joe Lampe, who now actually has the lead after his 15th hit back an inning ago in the top of the first. McCarthy with a rare fastball early in this game. And is back to the breaking ball and a chopper over to Compton, who bobbles that one at short. He lost his footing over there in the grass. We'll see how that one's scored. Knapczyk has good speed and had a chance to beat that down the line. I have a feeling that's going to be scored a base hit, as Knapczyk should pick up his first hit of the game, and Ty Lampe with the season lead. We'll see how our official score, Mr. Bob, as we know, will score this one. Still awaiting, but as soon as we hear, it's actually ruled an E6, so he's going to call that one an error from the shortstop Compton.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, as much as we would like to see it up as a hit, over there at short, Compton had the chance, just kind of bobbled it between the dirt and the grass. But Colby Thomas here from Mercer, he doubled the last game. He started things off with the first hit of the game, ended up really coming in the clutch, beating the Falmouth Commodores, and he's a guy that, along with Joshua Moylan, we've been waiting for him to wake up offensively, and they did in their last game.
Thomas skies this one, carrying out towards right. Now Luttrell goes to his left, makes the catch. One down. You mentioned Colby Thomas had that double down the left field line on Wednesday. Here is Peter Burns, who, him and Colton Bender, we've always talked about it, but him and Bender been anchors behind the plate with guys like C.J. Rodriguez and Silas Ardone, who are not going to be with the Bourne Braves now after their extended seasons with their respective colleges, both Vanderbilt and Texas, who were in the College World Series. Knapczyk on the move as Burns pops this one up and over the head of Compton. Knapczyk takes the turn and heads for third and will stand up there. And if that was trouble, if Compton was somehow able to backtrack and make that catch, it would have been an ending double play, but Compton, who just kept backpedaling, didn't turn and head back like a wide receiver, ends up dropping over his head, and the Braves are in business for the second consecutive inning.
A tough inning for Compton, but how about Peter Burns? That's his 5th single on the season, but he has been huge, just getting on base. He finds ways to get the Braves in a better position. You know, you think of him solely as a defensive player, but now he's proving that he can go up against the likes of Colton Bender. A first and third scenario exactly like we had in the bottom of the first last inning. So a second and a rare opportunity to be in the same position and try and get those runs across the base.
Here is Nick Goodwin. who came into the game defensively against Falmouth on Wednesday for the 9th inning. 0-1, and he's going to pop this one up. This is hoping to get down for these Braves, and does. The diving Hoffman over there, who is the son of Major League Baseball Hall of Famer, one of the best closers of all time. And if you know what I'm talking about with the last name Hoffman, you are right. Trevor Hoffman, the former San Diego Padre. That is his son. Not a pitcher, but in the middle infield here for the YD Red Sox. So Goodwin gets another life here. After that one landed in foul territory, 0-2. Braves had first and third, one out in the first, but Wallace and Agnos ended the inning with back-to-back strikeouts.
As speedy as Joe Lampe was last inning at third, Christian Knapczyk is the guy behind him that I would want. You often see them at that 1-2 spot in the lineup, but not today. An interesting move by Harvey Shapiro, but Max Anderson is just as efficient. In only 6 games, he's 5 hits off the lead, which is astounding.
Yeah, that's how you know you're producing when you come to the team, especially when you're as new as Max Anderson is, even newer than Caden Wallace, our Arkansas friend.
We're going to see Joe Lampe at the top of the order just after Nick Goodwin.
Check over there on Peter Burns.
Something that I haven't seen much from Harvey Shapiro in these first and thirds is sending that first base runner. You know, it's a classic base running situation. I don't see really any real threat. You know, if he throws it down, Christian Knapczyk is walking to the plate. But Harvey Shapiro opting not to.
Goodwin skies this one into left. That's going to fall for a base hit in front of Smith. Burns advances to second, and the Braves are on the board thanks to a Nick Goodwin 2-strike RBI single to left.
Nick Goodwin improving on that 275 average, and the Bourne Braves of old, it seems, have come out that we saw in those first handful of games where they were putting up double-digit runs. And the Braves, when they take a lead, it's huge, especially at home where they have offensively struggled. So to get that first runner across against McCarthy is a massive swing in this game.
Here's Joe Lampe. He singled up the middle in his first plate appearance and watches a breaking ball miss low. In 2021, for McCarthy, he was a grad student at Georgetown. He started 6 games, had an ERA just over 3.5. 39 2/3 innings pitched. He struck out 42 and only walked 9, but opponents hit 265 off of him. So not the best opponent's average clip, but a low ERA to boot. And it's quickly 2-0 here to Joe Lampe. 1 run on 3 hits early on here for the Braves. They take an early lead on the bottom of the second after Nick Goodwin comes through with 2 strikes. Inside and off of the glove, they're going to say it hit Lampe. Got him on the foot, so regardless, Braves get their base runner and now have the bases loaded for a guy who, as you mentioned, only 5 hits off the team lead and just his handful of games.
It's unbelievable. You know, 9 hits on the season for him. He walked in the last appearance, the last inning, but he is just something special. Big Ten Freshman of the Year, another reason why Nebraska made it to the regionals of the College World Series. But the Nebraska native decided to stay in state and play for his Cornhuskers. And he has a bases loaded situation. He is stellar. And he's also a bit unsuspecting. You couldn't necessarily tell, but he, in batting practice, just smashes it with the likes of Reggie Crawford and Kyler Fedko.
Well, nothing against Max Anderson, but you look at him and he just looks like a dude you'd see walking around campus. not nothing against Max. It's actually something that we've talked about. But some guys, you know, I'm not saying Max doesn't have an athletic build, because obviously he's quite athletic to be producing the numbers that he does. But
he'll be
sure to like, what? You?
He'll be sure to shut your mouth.
Oh, absolutely.
When he gets into the batter's box. So we'll see what he can do here. He's ahead early now against McCarthy. Bases loaded with a speedy Peter Burns at third again. Hunter and McCarthy have to be careful of those pass balls or wild pitches because Peter Burns is quick. He has that catcher twitch to him. that is needed down the third base line, and we could be seeing a walk.
Yeah. The Braves have had their fair share of bases loaded walks this year. 3, in fact. Talking about a team that issued most of those walks, at least consecutively, the Wareham Gatemen, when they issued 5 against the Braves. Daniel, they played the only game in the Cape last night after the Veterans Field over in Chatham did not receive much rain. The game ended up in a 4-4 tie. Wareham's pitchers struck out 19 Anglers hitters, but it was tied because Chatham had 1 hit. That 1 hit was a grand slam.
Oh, my God.
That's tough for Wareham, but
unbelievable.
we'll take it for the divisional standings that only allowed Wareham to gain a point. 3-0 here, and that is a called strike.
And we'll be traveling to Chatham tomorrow, which should be a very fun game, a great atmosphere over there at Chatham, under the lights, 7 o'clock. And traveling to those Eastern Division teams is just a huge confidence builder, not necessarily at this point for the standings, and of course those are always in the back of your head.
That 3-1 misses in the dirt outside. The Braves get a bases loaded walk. Meyer in the bullpen will be the second pitcher for the YD Red Sox. We will see how soon the Red Sox want to turn to him. But right now, laboring out there after walking in Peter Burns. Now Dalton Rushing has bases full of Braves, as over at third is Goodwin. Second, Lampy, and first, Anderson.
Rushing is not the guy I want to be facing if I'm McCarthy, with the bases loaded and still 2 outs to get.
Rushing
that's why.
with a drive into left center field. That's going to get down in front of Williams. That's going to score 2 Braves runners. Joe Lampy running through the stop sign, slides into home save. And now coming to third here is Max Anderson. Dalton Rushing holds on at first. It is a 2-run single. Joe Lampy ran right through Harvey Shapiro's stop sign, but when he got the speed that he does, it doesn't matter. Lampy was well ahead of that cutoff throw.
I don't even think he was waiting for Harvey Shapiro's sign. He was gunning it across third, and the Braves 4-0. They jump out to a hot lead, and we know from history, anytime they put up this type of number early on, it's resulted well for the 10-1-3 Bourne Braves. Here comes Caden Wallace trying to add to this rally. And Caden Wallace struck out in his last appearance. But Dalton Rushing creating another first and third opportunity. And I think they might be making a change now. That is an active bullpen out there in right field for the YD Red Sox, and I think McCarthy's time may be over.
They will make the call to the bullpen. It'll be the pitcher Meyer, who we were told about will be on as the first pitcher in relief. We'll tell you a little bit more about him. The Bourne Braves have struck gold here in the bottom of the second. It is 4-0. Reeves Jackson and Daniel Coates back with you. New pitcher to tell you about is the right-hander Adam Meyer. Daniel on in relief of McCarthy, who is was in a bit of a pickle here against these Braves.
Yeah, Adam Meyer from the University of British Columbia. He was actually seen a couple of times, and we knew the entire game here, even in just the first 2 innings, that Meyer would be the guy after McCarthy. So we saw him. YD saw him at Wareham, 5 innings pitched, 4 runs, 4 hits, and 1 batter walked. The most recent time we've seen him is July 2nd at Chatham, 2.2 innings pitched, 1 run, and that was earned 2 hits, 3 Ks. So still a little dicey, but he has to really finish things out for YD here if they want to stay in this game.
Yeah, YD came into this game with a negative run differential, but leading the Eastern Division. I guess that's kind of hard to do when you have Orleans with plus 26 over there, but things have rolled their way in the games that YD has played as that breaking ball misses inside. 2 balls and no strikes. Meanwhile, Bourne still commanding positive 36 in the run differential column, 10 more than Orleans. And poor Hyannis in the bottom of the league, minus 53.
Yeah. They can't catch a break. It's tough. But Caden Wallace now with a 2-0 count to a new pitcher. Meyer has a 4.69 ERA on the season, 5 strikeouts, but Caden Wallace just shy of 300, 296 average.
Wallace skies this one a mile high in the infield. Over there is the first baseman, Huff. He's right on the line, makes the catch in fair territory. Wallace pops out. Meyer does the job against the first hitter he faces. 1 down.
Dalton Rushing, probably not the guy you're going to send from first to second if you're Harvey Shapiro, but again, another first and third situation. Zach Agnos faced this in the bottom of the first, so he's going to have an exact replication of that situation, but against Meyer, who's a new pitcher here coming in, and you still see an active bullpen out there in right field for the Red Sox. So got to keep an eye on that.
Here's Agnos, watches the changeup dive low. Sun was trying to come out around the time of first pitch, but still is a beautiful night for baseball, considering what we endured yesterday with the gusty winds and the strong rain. Agnos fouls off that curveball. Braves have struck for 4 here in the second against the likes of Nolan McCarthy, staking Austin Parsley to an early advantage as he is 6 up and 6 down as they check on Rushing over there at first.
A quick check there by Meyer. Zach Agnos is coming off a game 2 games ago, actually, at Orleans at Spillane, where he was 2 for 4 with a double and a triple, and he could actually hear us on the broadcast, and he said, "Why'd you have to mention that I was just a single and a homer away from the cycle?"
Agnos slow roller to Graham, but makes a strong peg over to Huff, and that will retire the Braves here in the bottom of the second. But not before Nick Goodwin hits an RBI single, and Dalton Rushing delivers a 2-run blow of his own. These Braves lead it 4-0 as we head to the top of the third.
DH from Georgia Tech, number 25.
Reeves Jackson, Daniel Coates, happy to be back with you from Doran Park. It'll be 7-8-9 here for the YD Red Sox, and here to take you through it, it's Daniel Coates.
Thank you, Reeves. After a big cut from Drew Compton, misses an 0-1 count to Austin Parsley, who is looking dominant in the first 2 innings. He enters the third and continues to be the starter for the Braves. 0-2 now after a foul ball by Compton. An 0-2 underneath the lights here at Doran Park, high and inside.
Ladies and gentlemen, I wanted to apologize. It's actually Ferraris at shortstop for YD. I had been saying it was Compton. We were initially given the lineup card of Compton at short. They did make a change. It is Ferraris at short, Compton the DH tonight.
Another foul ball from Compton, as you said, Reeves. The designated hitter for the night, and Austin Parsley making quick work here of Compton, the left-handed batter. The YD Red Sox have a decent amount of work to do here. They face a 4-run deficit, and that will help things. Compton slaps one to right, and he's on with a base knock to start the top of the third.
Yeah, solid piece of hitting right there. Just took that Parsley pitch. He left it a little too up in the zone. And a nice job there by Drew Compton, who gets the first base runner and first base hit for the YD Red Sox here tonight.
So Drew Compton starts things off with a single right over there to Caden Wallace in his usual position. With the departure of Kyler Fedko, we'll most likely be seeing him there most every night.
Yeah, it'll be nice to see Colby Thomas get a little bit more of regular playing time as well in this Braves outfield. Someone who has looked solid at the plate as of late, always been a great defender.
So the bottom of this lineup for the Red Sox have really struggled. This is Cade Hunter coming in 3 for 27 with a 111 average, only 1 RBI. He faces no outs in the top of the third with a man on. Fouls that one behind the net, right over our broadcasting deck. How about this crowd, Reeves? I mean, this is a complete and utter showing. It feels like everyone in Bourne showed up for this Saturday night game.
It surely does. I mean, the concession lines are long. Got everyone in their seats. Saturday night, everyone's glad the rain is gone. It's kids' night.
Nice pitch there from Parsley. That will do it for Cade Hunter, and he will drop from that 111 average. Here comes the 9-spot hitter, Tyler Williams, seen defensively in center field.
Tyler Williams.
Parsley again closing out a YD Red Sox and adding to that impressive strikeout mark. Tyler Williams thinking about that one. He holds off a 1-0 count, 1 out in the top of the third here at Doran Park. The beast of the East, first the best in the West,
yes,
as I like to say.
Absolutely.
So a 1-0 count with 1 out. Still Compton at first. Swing and a miss, 1-1.
And other guys, as you mentioned, this bottom of the YD Red Sox order has struggled. Williams just 2 for 19 on the season, so similarly to Hunter. 105 clip here for Tyler Williams. They did get Compton aboard.
That pitch goes wayward outside, 2-1.
It's the tale of two halves of this lineup for YD. Got up the top, obviously, Hoffman and Huff, 357 and 346, as well as Peyton Graham, 273, and Chase Luttrell, 273. But then, Daniel, you take a look at the bottom half, as you mentioned, Compton, 143, Hunter, 111, and Williams, 105. So really just two separate halves of this Red Sox order that is struggling and one that is producing most of their runs.
Only 2 hits on the season for Williams, which, again, for a team like the YD Red Sox, who are the top of the East Division, that is a stunning difference between the upper part of the order and the lower part. He's the 9-spot hitter, and then we're going to go back up to Peyton Graham, who's on deck now down the right field line. Full count. Williams looking to improve on a 105 average. Compton with a steady lead at first. Full count, payoff, pitch, swing, and a miss. Williams goes down swinging 2 strikeouts for Austin Parsley.
It's a Whitey team. Either, like, when you look at their pitching, they're 4th in ERA at 3.59 in the entire Cape League. And their offense is right in the middle of the pack as far as batting average is concerned, a 236 team average clip, which is good for right in the middle of the Cape League for 5th. Bourne obviously leading the way at 277 team average. But when you go to run production and RBIs, that's where YD takes a drop-off. They are second to last in runs driven in with just 46. We mentioned their second worst road slugging percentage. They only have 16 more runs driven in than the Hyannis Harbor Hawks. In first is Orleans, second in Falmouth, third is Cotuit, and fourth are your Braves.
That one drifts outside. A 1-1 count. Top of the third, 2 outs after letting on a lead-off Drew Compton with a slap to right field. Austin Parsley has been dialed in here, trying to send down the one-spot hitter, Peyton Graham. Hard hit right by the glove of Goodwin at second. Holding up is Compton at second, but a good piece of hitting for Peyton Graham, who is going to improve on a 272 average with 6 RBIs. A man and a Red Sox in scoring position for YD. That's just a good hit. Nothing Nick Goodwin really can do there. He was playing a bit to his left, and that's what you have to do as a one-spot hitter. And, you know, if you're Austin Parsley, just keep your head down, keep fighting back, and you now have 2 outs, so any crack of the bat could do it. And if the story tells itself, we could be seeing another strikeout. He is a strikeout machine.
Yeah, Parsley is he's deadly when he gets to 2 strikes.
But Tanner Smith here, who is the 2-spot hitter, 9 for 34 on the season.
You look at that scoreboard, it's like, oh, wait, we have 2 Major League teams playing? Braves and Red Sox, your team, my team, as far as Major League teams concerned?
I never thought of that. That one's going right towards us. It's going to be in foul territory. Peter Burns might have a shot at it. He lets that one bang on the bricks.
I'm sure that ball is scuffed up.
Oh, yeah. I think they'll be taking that to the dugout. But we've actually gotten a surprising amount of pop, fly, foul balls right towards us, Reeves. We haven't been able to field one yet, but we got one on the roof of our press box. We got one just over us, so we have to be on our toes. You know, can't be as washed up as we think. We still have to defend ourselves from these wayward foul balls.
Just like when you told me off air that you're going to catch every one of them, right?
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Well, I keep forgetting my glove. That's really the reason. Breaking ball, dropping outside, swing and a miss from Smith with 4 RBIs and another opportunity, but Parsley ahead, 1-2. He's thrown 27 strikes and 13 balls. Again, Harvey Shapiro, when he looks at a pitcher, strikes, that is the priority. Hard hit line drive down the right field line. Fielding it is Caden Wallace at the fence by that 300 mark. Scoring will be Drew Compton. And here comes Peyton Graham, and he will cross as well. What a piece of hitting there for Tanner Smith, who sends in 2 YD Red Sox.
Yeah, great piece of hitting. Just turned on that 2-strike fastball. And that's where Parsley's gotten hit this inning. He's just leaving the pitches up, especially with 2 strikes. Nice job there by Tanner Smith. Didn't let a prime 2-out opportunity slip by. And all of a sudden, the Red Sox have cut this Braves lead in half.
Just got sucked into that right field gap right down the line, and it's stuck by the froggy pole, as we now call it. No longer the pesky-ish. But that 300 mark, it really is a tough place to field it if you're Caden Wallace. He had to go all the way to his left, and 2 Red Sox took advantage, and Tanner Smith records the double. But Cody Huff now looking to elongate this top of the third. Parsley's breaking ball is taken high, pop fly. Looks like Nick Goodwin's going to come in and secure the final out of the top of the third. The YD Red Sox battle back and get 2 on the Bourne Braves, who will be batting next. And we have our sideline reporter Calvin Cristoforo, who is down there. He's going to tell us a little bit about how the Bourne Braves are feeling and how the attitude is down there. But coming off a 4-2 top of the third, we are now with a 2-run lead. Calvin, I'm going to ask you this. What do you think that 2-day buffer and that 2-day rest did for this team?
Well, Daniel, I really think it did a lot. It's not only the one off day that was scheduled on Thursday, but the rain delay last night I think really helped this team, because you guys got to remember they were in the middle of an 8 games and 8 days stretch. Sure, there was the one rained out in the middle, but there was also a game that was pushed back 2 hours due to rain, and then a 2-hour rain delay in the middle of the game. So this team was gassed. They needed a break, and they got it last night, and I think that really allowed them to come out with a lot of energy tonight. It started with Austin Parsley, a quick 1-2-3 first inning, and the bats got going. Nick and I talked in the pregame show about Christian Knapczyk making an instant impact out of the 6th spot. Then the Braves go to the hit and run, got some runners moving in a 4-run inning, their first 4-run inning since the last time they played Wareham here at Doran Park, which is about a couple of weeks ago. So I think it really did a lot for this team.
And Reeves, the YD Red Sox cutting a 4-0 lead to 2-4. We thought we were going to have what looked to be a runaway win, maybe a blowout of sorts, but I think we might be in for a shootout.
Yeah, it easily could be. Obviously, the Braves jumping out to that early 4-0 lead, but nice job there, obviously, by Tanner Smith. He just put one down on that right field side of the field. We haven't really seen many hitters utilize right field this year, but as you mentioned, cuts that lead in half, just 4-2 now. But the Braves trying to tack on some more.
A flare to left field, looks like a fly out coming for Knapczyk, and that will do it. Smith secures that one in his glove in left field. So first pitch swinging and one out quickly for Meyer. The Braves coming off a 4-run bottom of the second. Colby Thomas stepping up to the plate. Christian Knapczyk coming back after strep throat the past week. We hadn't seen him since Wareham last Sunday. Check swing foul. Right back towards the YD dugout. But Colby Thomas is a guy at the bottom of the order that really has slowly started to show what he can do. He struggles with those fly balls, those pop-outs, as he faces a 1-1 count, but he put an exclamation point on his average with that hard hit double down the third base line just last game.
Yeah, I think just Colby, as far as what we've seen when talked to coaches, Larry, well, there you go. There's a way to fix it.
Just like that, he slaps one between the third baseman and the shortstop. Rounds first, and Colby Thomas gets on base for the first time this game.
Yeah, I was going to say, obviously, we talked to some of the coaches, talked about, what does Colby need to do to cut down on some of these infield pop-outs, and Coach Kevin Graber just said, honestly, he just needs to see the ball deeper. And that doesn't necessarily mean taking it to right field every single time. If it's a fastball, then yes, that's where you should be taking it. But it also means if that's a breaking ball, let that ball get deep and you pull it. You're not going to pop out and get way on your front foot where the bat head is just flailing out there, which creates weak contact. And that's exactly what we saw Colby Thomas do there. He waited back on the breaking ball. You saw barrel-to-barrel contact, or bat-to-barrel contact, and then sliced it right through that 5-6 hole over there on the third base side of the field.
Colby Thomas jumping back twice. That one, the second, was a closer call for him. In left field, he has the speed to take over the base path. Peter Burns with a single the last time we saw him, and he scored. Checking back again, Meyer 3 times can't catch Colby Thomas at first. So Peter Burns 1 for 1 on the day. He has 5 hits this season, but that doesn't tell the whole story.
No, not at all. All of his hits have been timely. He's gotten on base via walks and hit by pitches multiple times.
Colby's going. A good throw behind the plate. Sliding in, and he's safe. Just beat the tag of Ferraris. Colby Thomas advances to second, and another Bourne Brave will be in scoring position.
Yeah, good throw there by Hunter behind the plate. Throw was, I wouldn't even, a tad high from where I guess Hunter would ideally like it in a perfect scenario. Ferraris got that tag down quickly, but Colby got the hand in there just before.
A great jump from Hunter, just nothing you can do. It was speed versus speed, and Colby Thomas won the battle 1-0 here. Peter Burns calling for time. A slight left to right breeze that is favoring the right field pole. So Peter Burns could pull one here, the lefty. There could be some danger around that 300 mark. Check swing in the dirt. That's going to be a 1-1. The YD Red Sox in white and the Bourne Braves also in white. It's something that you don't see very often, but just a miscommunication here on a crisp, cool Saturday night, kids' night here at Doran Park, and they are everywhere. Holy moly.
Great to see them. We love kids' night. We see all of them playing around the grounds here at Doran.
1-1 high fly ball that's behind Hunter in foul territory. He's underneath it, but can't field it just by the bat boys. And he lets that one drop, and Peter Burns gets a second shot.
Peter Burns is a fellow catcher himself going, I know how that feels.
Thank
so
God.
thank you.
He actually let a foul ball hit the bricks in a very similar fashion to that play. So, you know, as a catcher at the base, or at the plate, I should say, you got to imagine he has a little edge, knowing what's coming, how to deal with a pitcher, what to call, how to call a game. So he's proven that, and exactly like you said, Reeves, timely hitting is the name of the game for Peter Burns. 1-2, Colby dives back. No throw there from Meyer. A 1-2 count, 1 out. 4-2, the Braves have the lead. Slapped foul right into the crowd. 1-2, it stays.
And even, Daniel, you look out in the outfield, you got all the kids and the fans playing out on the upper Cape Tech football field, and you got all the fans bringing their lawn chairs in the outfield. Another time we only saw that, as you mentioned at the top of the broadcast, was on opening night.
And I think that this performance from the fans has to top it. But a 1-2 here, Peter Burns takes another one, low and outside, 2-2, battling it off and making it tough here for Meyer, who's thrown 9 strikes and 5 balls. He has 5 strikeouts coming into this game on 7.5 innings pitched, just shy of a 5 ERA, 4.69 to be exact. 2-2, Colby Thomas scurrying back. As I mentioned earlier, Peter Burns is 266 as a batter. For an average, and behind him will be Nick Goodwin, who singled as well, both Peter Burns and Goodwin scoring in that 8-9 position. Stays at 2-2. Peter Burns making Meyer sweat on the mound.
Daniel, I'm wondering if, how am I going to phrase this question? I'm honestly, I'm kidding.
With this Peter Burns at bat, you got time.
I'm curious. I would love to know how many kids compared to how many adults are here tonight. I guess that's what I'm trying to say.
Oh boy.
If we were able to tell.
Ground ball to second, improving to third is Colby Thomas, and that will do it for Peter Burns, but he moves a runner over, and Colby Thomas is poised to score there at third. Nick Goodwin coming in and hoping to replicate his last at-bat. He singled just shy of the left fielder Smith. Joe Lampe, the top of the order, on deck. 2 outs in the bottom of the third. And what we thought was going to be a quick pitching-dominated game in the first inning has turned into a shootout, it looks like.
Yeah, especially after Austin Parsley retired the first 6 hitters of YD's team. We talked about the bottom of the order. But obviously, Compton got on base, and then you turn it over to the top of the order. That's where the guys produce. You had 2 strikeouts from the 8-9 guys. Top of the order came through, though.
1-0, misses high again, 2-0. Meyer struggling a bit with his accuracy, and you can see that with 11 strikes and 7 balls so far today, so that's not necessarily the ratio you want. From University of British Columbia. That catches, 2-1. Joe Lampe on deck, and he was hit by a pitch, in the second inning and singled. Back in the first, he stole second immediately when he made it to first.
He wasn't wasting any time.
That's the strategy I would hold if I was Harvey Shapiro. 2-1 turns to 2-2, fouled back into the bricks.
Obviously, Daniel got action all around the Cape League tonight after 4 of the 5 contests last night were scratched. But over in Katuitt, Brewster beating the Kettleers 5-3, top of the ninth. What we like to see.
We do like to see that. 2-2 count. Another foul ball. That was right in Nick Goodwin's wheelhouse. He takes it over the right-hand fence.
Well, I should say all but one of the games. Orleans was canceled tonight. I guess, obviously, there was, I will say, that when driving over here, there was some rain over there on that northern tip. They did cross over that part of the Cape.
Nick Goodwin continues to battle, and it stays 2-2. And if I'm correct, I saw a report that it was mostly field conditions.
Yes.
And I got to tip my cap to the people who manage this field, because from what I heard this morning, it was an absolute puddle of a field. But constant work and hours of preparation have led us to this point. A 2-2 Nick Goodwin. Breaking ball drops in. That's outside. A good eye from Nick Goodwin with a slider that looked like it was going right down the middle, and it drifted to the right.
I tell you, man, this is a team. This is phenomenal plate discipline, this Bourne team. They're 6th in the league in walks drawn. That's because they're so darn good at hitting, too. They lead the league in hits and 6th in the league in walks. Pretty good.
Full count right up the middle. Can it get by the second baseman? Nick Goodwin's going to beat it, and scoring is Colby Thomas. 5-2. The Braves add a 3-run lead and add 1 run in the bottom of the third. Nick Goodwin, how about this kid? He was a bit quiet in the last few games, but he is adding to that 275-plus average. He is 2 for 2 on the day, responsible there for an RBI. And the Braves are continuing to show that they are back to their old offensive ways that we saw at the end of June.
Hasn't Nick Goodwin been impressive? He had that 2-hit game at Orleans. Obviously came in as a defensive replacement against Falmouth. And then an RBI single to get the Braves' first run across, which scored Christian Knapczyk. And then another RBI single here to bring in Colby Thomas. Talk about Nick Goodwin lately, who had that 5 to 6 game slide at the plate, and then he's broken out of it a huge way. 4 hits in his last 2 games started. 4 hits in his last 6 at-bats.
Unbelievable. So he has really dialed into his hitting here, and the Kansas State product keeps us alive and sends another runner across the plate. Joe Lampe with another opportunity. We saw him in the first, saw him in the second, and now we're seeing him in the third. That's when you know the bats are on fire. A 2-1 count. Joe Lampe's batting over .318 for an average. He came in with a .318 average, and now he is 15 for 45. Going is Nick Goodwin, grounding it right to second. Hoffman picks it up and slings it over to the first baseman and ends the top of the third. We're going to go to the bottom of the third. The Braves hold a 3-run lead, 5-2, defending Doran Park. Welcome back. Alongside me is our beat writer and beat reporter, Nick Galley. If you don't follow him on social media, please do so. He'll drop his tag.
Yeah.
But Nick,
drop it in there at some point.
I'm going to ask you the same question that I asked Calvin. Have these 2 days really made a difference for the Braves? I mean, they're coming out red hot offensively in a style that we haven't seen since the beginning of this season.
I mean, I can't say the 2 off days haven't kind of lit a spark under them, because clearly something's a little bit different right now with this team. They're scoring early, they're scoring often, and they're not leaving guys on base. They're bringing in the runs, and we have not seen that really at home at all this year so far. You know, the most they've scored at home is 5 runs, or 6 runs rather, and I think it was that Wareham game where they won 6-5, and they already have 5 here in the top of the 4th. So this team looks refurbished, and it's definitely a positive sign if you're a Braves fan.
It's most certainly a positive sign, and we have a positive lead, 5-2, as we go to the top of the 4th. Breaking ball slapped down the first base line, kept in play, and Dalton Rushing just has to tap on the bag. So a tough way to start for the Red Sox and Latrell Ferraris at short. He flew out to right in his last appearance, but Latrell can't get things going in the top of the 4th. And Nick, you know, to see us have 5 runs at home, mind you, here to start things in the top of the 5th. I mean, Joe Lampe has seen the plate in the first inning, in the second inning, and in the third inning.
He's on pace for 9 at-bats.
Unbelievable. Ooh, a swing, and that's going to shake up the umpire. He's on his 2 feet. He's okay, but we've seen a couple of those where the ball just goes right off the bat and right into these poor umpires.
It's brutal.
Brutal. It's a brutal game out there. But
I'm glad we're sitting up here.
You know, we got this nice net that's not going to – no ball is getting through that or really over us. But, you know, this team is coming out, and everyone's contributing. Even like Peter Burns, the bottom of the lineup, Colby Thomas.
Nick Goodwin.
2 for 2 after a brief hiatus. We cooled off a bit ever since that game at Falmouth that he was 4 for 5. But how about the work from the bottom end of this order?
I mean, that's what you like to see right now. 7, 8, 9 guys, Thomas, Burns, and Goodwin already have 4 hits combined, couple RBIs, both from Goodwin, and 3 runs scored as well. Thomas has come around once, Burns has come around once, Goodwin has.
And speaking of Nick Goodwin, he just scooped that line drive right up and threw it over to Dalton Rushing for a quick out number 2. And Parsley, what a performance so far. I know he let off 2. He's only let up 3 hits, though. Parsley proving to be a guy that you got to keep your eye out on, especially with the departures of Graceffo and Zawak to the MLB draft, as well as Peter Van Loon.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, just one mistake pitch from Parsley here that resulted in the 2 RBI double. But other than that, the other 2 hits, a couple singles. I mean, you can give up singles and pretty much get out of things in a pretty unscathed manner for the most part. But yeah, 1 double, you can live with that. Braves have the lead, so he's been looking really well.
Joe Lampe underneath a routine fly ball to center in shallow center, and Parsley gets out of his 4th inning.
I'm like, good luck now, man. You see this? That was the quickest inning I've ever been on.
That was the quickest inning, and you didn't even allow me to get to the bad luck. So, hey, look at you today.
Look at me go.
Look at you.
It's all about character growth, you know?
Well, Nick, we always appreciate having you on. We might see you in a bit, but if you don't follow Nick, follow him on Twitter, on Instagram. Give him a like.
Twitter mostly.
Twitter
nothing on Instagram, man. It's all about the Twitter nowadays, but you can give me a follow at the Nick Galley if you feel like it. If you don't, that's fine too. You know,
it's up to you.
Do what your heart desires.
Well, Nick, we appreciate having you on. Always great insight from you. The Braves will go to the bottom of the 4th with a 5-2 lead. Max Anderson will lead things off for the Braves, who hold a 5-2 lead against the top of the East Division, the YD Red Sox. And we have another opportunity to get runs on the board, and that will help. Flared just shallow of right field for a base knock to start things off. Max Anderson, he has had some trouble hitting, huh?
Trouble getting on base.
If you couldn't tell
he's never on base.
If you couldn't tell, that was clearly started. I mean, unbelievable stuff from Max Anderson. He walked back in the first. He walked again. That's his 10th hit on the season in just 7 games.
Hey, he's on base 3 times in the first 4 innings. It's laughable because he's so good.
That's why he's Big Ten Freshman of the Year. I'm surprised he didn't put a good run to Big Ten Player of the Year.
Oh, no, I'm sure. Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure he was considered. Obviously, there's a lot of good players in that conference.
A 1-0 count. Dalton rushing, 12 for 40 coming into the game. He's 1 for 2 today. He had a single back in the second. That one catches the zone. 1-1. Max Anderson all over Meyer there. He knew what pitch was coming and just sent it the opposite way. Hard hit ground ball just past the diving Huff. Rounding second, Max Anderson looking for third. The throw from right field is tardy. Luttrell's throw is too late, and Max Anderson makes it all the way to third from first off of a Dalton rushing single.
How about Dalton rushing? He had that 2-run single into left center field that dropped in front of the YD center fielder Tyler Williams, and now just laces one. Huff was playing even at the bag, obviously holding the runner and Anderson on at first. If he was behind Anderson, obviously you wouldn't be with a runner on first and nobody else on him. But him being even at the bag in front of that base runner allowed that ball to sneak by him. So we'll take it. Runners in the corners.
We will most certainly take it, and Caden Wallace will be the batter up. Max Anderson on third. Dalton rushing at first. Caden Wallace struck out in the first and popped up. That's a hard hit ground ball to Hoffman. Can they get 2? They do, but scoring is Max Anderson, and the Braves take a 6-2 lead. A great play from the Red Sox, but they can't hold up Max Anderson at third. The Braves add another run in the bottom of the fourth.
Yeah, obviously no RBI for Caden Wallace, but nonetheless, I'm sure he'll be slapping himself a bit in the dugout as far as, come on, man, I gotta get a run in without getting 2 outs. But at the end of the day, the rest of the dugout's going to pick him up and say, hey, man, you got the run in. That's all that matters. It's a 4-run game again.
Pitch to Zach Agnos for strike 1. Agnos on the day struck out and then grounded to his own position there at third. 0-1. 1-1, 2 outs, bottom of the fourth. Meyer still on the mound for the Red Sox. In right field, there's still some activity. We can't tell necessarily if those are the kids playing or if they're the YD Red Sox warming up in the pen. Missing low. Zach Agnos in his third appearance at the plate. He's 0 for 2 on the day, looking to right the ship here. 2-1. Swing and a miss, 2-2. On deck is Christian Knapczyk.
What a great night. It's always, you can't beat a Saturday night with baseball. That's always said that. Any weekend night full of baseball, it's best as it comes.
Swing and a miss. The second strikeout for Zach Agnos. Meyer gets out of the inning, but not without giving the Braves one more run, a 6-2 lead. We're going to go to the top of the 5th. The Braves protecting home turf and protecting their top spot in the West Division. We'll be back in just a few moments.
Wherever you call
top of the 5th, and we have a new pitcher. We haven't seen him this early in the game this entire season. He pitched a handful of innings in Wareham just a few days ago, but Tristan Reeling, the Gonzaga Bulldog, will take over in relief for Parsley. And how about this? And you couldn't even believe it when I told you who was coming out of the pen.
Reeling in the 5th. He mentioned earliest he's been in all year, but you know why, Daniel? Here's why I think so. Obviously, they're trying to transition Reeling into becoming a starter. Obviously, you lose 3 starting pitchers, and you got to have a guy take over. And so for Reeling on the season, he's a guy who is 1-0, a 1.42 ERA. He struck out 9 and 6 in a third innings, but just came off his longest outing of the year at Wareham. He pitched the 6th, the 7th, and the 8th inning. And now on here in the 5th, so he's on a little earlier. He was on the 6th at Wareham in his last appearance. That was on the 4th of July, and he provided some fireworks of his own on the mound. He struck out 4, did not allow a hit, did not issue a walk. Obviously a scoreless outing, so he faced the minimum, 9 batters in 3 innings, and was outstanding. So Reeling's one of the more electric guys on this team. Fastball 97, 98 miles an hour, and obviously got the win against Wareham when he issued 3 walks and 3 strikeouts. That was the game before he played at Spillane here at Doran Park. So it's a fun guy to watch. Facing the 7, 8, and 9 hitters this inning, it starts off with Drew Compton. Singled and scored on the Tanner Smith 2-run double.
Reeling is a guy that I wish we had a speedometer or a radar gun, because he can heat. He's in the mid-90s, but he can creep up to that high 90s position, and he can pitch and he can defend. You saw that right there.
And beautiful backhand play there by Dalton Rushing, and the PFP there for Tristan Reeling. Easy come, easy go. 1 down.
The catcher from Virginia Tech, number 17, Cade Hunter.
As Cade Hunter steps in, we talked about it last time they were up, but these 8-9 hitters tonight, and Cade Hunter and Tyler Williams, have been struggling at the plate offensively this year, both in danger of, well, I should say, Williams already a sub-110 average. Cade Hunter in danger of dropping his average under 110. It was 111 coming up to the plate. The 1-0, he foul tips it right off of the mitt there of Peter Burns. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Peter Burns, he really gets banged up. He's a tough guy, though, behind the plate from Boston College. I love when you can tell what school the catchers come from the gear that they bring out here. Obviously, no team gear being worn. A 2-1 count. And Reeling, you know, if Harvey Shapiro really wants to make him into a reliever or a starter, this is a great opportunity to throw him into. We're leading by 4. He has some room to play with, and that is a great pitch there. And he shows why he's usually a closer. Him and Adler really bring the heat when they are seen in the 9th inning closing things out.
2 balls and 2 strikes. Eric Adler, another dynamic reliever in the Braves bullpen. His family's here today, so we welcome them to the ballpark here at Doran.
You think we'll see him later on?
You know what? It'd be quite possible. Only if this game gets closer, though. The Braves with I say with the 4-run lead, yes, but I have a feeling this Braves offense with 8 hits through 4 innings today, they're not done. So I'd say if things are out of hand, then no. I'm sure Adler's family will be in town for a few days. That one bounces in the dirt. The Braves' schedule after this, they'll go on the road for 3 consecutive games. Tomorrow night they are at Chatham Veterans Field. It's a 7 p.m. first pitch. Weather expected to be gorgeous. And same with Monday and Tuesday at Hyannis, where they start a 3-game set with the Harbor Hawks as Reeling gets Hunter down on strikes, fastball up in the zone. But kind of like an MLB-type weekday set, Daniel, where the Braves go to Hyannis twice, Monday and Tuesday, and then the Harbor Hawks come to Doran Park on Wednesday.
Really,
and they play 3 consecutive games.
Just down the road from us, so...
where we live, yeah.
where we live, that too, but for here at Doran Park as well. But crazy that we haven't seen our Western counterparts since the opening day of this season here at Doran Park, which was, I believe,
June 20th.
3 weeks from tomorrow.
Yeah.
3 weeks ago from tomorrow.
Well, we were going to see them last night before that game got rained out. This one is flied into center, And Lampy is going to call off Wallace and make the catch. About as easy of an inning as you can get for Tristan Vreeling. He gets Compton, Hunter, and Williams in order. Braves bats will look to make it 4 consecutive innings when they put up a run. We'll see if they can do that right here next on the Bourne Braves YouTube live stream. Reeves Jackson back here with Nick Galley once again. Nick is back with us as Christian Knapczyk digs in front of a 2021 record crowd of 1,814 fans here at Doran Park. Nick, what an atmosphere, what a night. And who would have ever thought that this Doran Park crowd would break the opening night record of just over, was it 1,700 fans? I think it was just over 1,700.
Like that. There was a lot of people here opening night. That's what I know.
I want to say it was 1,700. You know what? I'm going to go back and dig for it right now.
All right.
As Knapczyk skies this one out of play foul. Isn't Christian Knapczyk the king of slapping it over that left field, third base dugout, wherever the ballpark is played?
Look at the parking lot, man. That's nuts.
It's ridiculous. You have the police officers here tonight. You never have that on a normal night at Doran Park.
Really?
I don't think.
I
don't at least I don't know. I didn't think so.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I have no idea. I just work here. I don't make the rules. I'm not the city.
Nick,
I just write.
What would we do without you, Nick?
I don't know.
2-2 misses upstairs.
Honestly, you'd probably be just fine. I mean, someone else would definitely fill this role if it wasn't me.
No, they wouldn't. Not the way you have done it. You've been
incredible,
man.
Nick. You're too kind.
No, you really.
I can tell you.
In all seriousness, though, you really. I get compliments all the time that. Not in spite of anyone else in this league, but that they say you are the best beat writer that a team has in this league. So
that means a lot.
That is high praise.
It really does.
Absolutely. No, seriously.
I get a lot of good comments about you on the broadcast. You and Daniel.
Well, thank you.
More so Daniel. You're not too good.
Can't let it go to my head,
They always go, oh, yeah, that Daniel kid's great. And the Southern one, too. He's fine.
The Southern one. Bounced over to second. Nice play over there by Hoffman backing up. How about that being Trevor Hoffman's son? Pretty crazy.
Yeah, that is nuts.
Yeah.
I mean, this league, it brings in a lot of those former players' kids. Him being one of them. Kind of weird how he's not a pitcher, though, right?
That's what I was telling Daniel.
Your dad's one of the best closers of all time. And you're like, I'm play second base.
Yeah. You know what? I'm going to go middle infield.
Yeah, I'm going middle infield.
I'll help the closers out in those late inning situations. I guess that's how he'll pay tribute to his dad, as that bunt. I'll tell you what. From what I've seen from Colby Thomas, the kid can lay down a bunt on the third base line. He's done that multiple times this year.
Yeah, he's talented. I mean, the kid can hit. There's no doubt about it.
We know how good he is defensively.
Oh, yeah. Unbelievable defensively. He's probably made at least like 2 or 3 of the top 10 defensive plays we've seen this year so far.
And 2 in a row.
Yeah.
Those diving catches.
Been honest, yeah. So, Obviously great defensively, and the hitting looks like it's starting to come around a little bit now. We know how nice his swing is. We've seen it in BP. We've seen it in practice. We're just kind of waiting for that to translate to the game. And as I said in the pregame show with Calvin, once this kid starts seeing the ball low and not just skying the ball, you're going to start seeing those hits come, and they're starting to come.
Meyer still in this game, the right-hander from North Vancouver, British Columbia, by way of Canada. We'll say there's a number of Canadians in Major League Baseball. Haven't seen too many, though, this summer until Meyer. As that one misses upstairs, a ball and 2 strikes.
Who is from Canada in the MLB? I feel like I should know a few.
I feel like I should, if I just said that, then I should know a few off the top of my head. Freddie Freeman, Braves first baseman, is from Canada. He plays for the Canadian national team.
I didn't know that.
He does, Freddie Freeman. That one misses
I feel
downstairs.
like there's someone I should. I think Nick Pivetta is too.
That may, yeah.
Google Pivetta right now. I think
see.
he's from Canada.
The Wi-Fi's a little slow, but
yeah, that's what you get when 1,800 people are using it.
yeah, that is pretty crazy. Let's see, Canadian MLB players. As Thomas watches that one miss inside.
Let me look up Pivetta.
Yeah, look him up. I'll look up as a whole.
I'll put a cheeseburger on it that he's from Canada.
Well, I ain't down you, sir.
No, you should down me.
Joey Votto. Joey Votto's a Canadian.
I did not know that. Victoria, Canada. Pivetta.
Well,
gotcha.
there you go. Well, I didn't bet a cheeseburger with you. As Colby Thomas skies this one into right. Chase Luttrell in and puts the squeeze on it. 2 down. Let's see. Well, let's go for some more. Oh, how could I forget? The Braves' own Mike Soroka, who just went down with his second torn Achilles, was just walking in the clubhouse.
Yes.
That's always tough to hear about.
Number 12, Peter Burns.
Let's see. Nick Pavetta's on here. That's one of the first ones on
Morneau,
the list.
Larry Walker, Jason Bay,
Jason Bay, former
Red Sox.
former Boston Red Sox, as well as a Pittsburgh Pirate.
Much better on the Pirates.
I would say so as well. Here's Peter Burns.
Sun coming out now, Reeves.
Yeah, sun is coming out. You see behind us in the skyline. It is nice to see.
Oh, wow.
I can't.
Oh, man, that's beautiful.
I can't remember when the last time I saw blue skies were. My eyes are.
I'd say yesterday evening,
Well,
to be honest with you. If we're being 100% honest, yesterday evening there were some blue skies.
You know what, Nick? I don't want to hear it from you.
I'm looking at my watch, man. It has been literally less than 12 hours. I'm talking like 11 hours. No. Less than 24 hours.
I was about to say.
About 16 hours.
That's why you're not a math major, I guess. 3-0 to Peter Burns. I guess that's why I'm not either, though.
Yeah. What are you majoring in?
Journalism.
Let's learn. Are you?
Journalism
No,
major.
I thought it was broadcast.
Technically, we don't have broadcasting as a major at Georgia. 3-0 here to Burns. That's a fastball, outer half. Well, if you're not one of the 1,814 people, a new record here at Dorn Park, in attendance today, we hope you are enjoying our YouTube live stream with the combination of myself, Reeves Jackson, Daniel Coates, and our guests for the 2 of the past few innings, Nick Galley, as Peter Burns draws a 2-out walk. Daniel and I were telling you about it earlier when Burns was up to the plate, but timely hits and plate discipline has been the name of the game for Burns. Obviously, Bender, more of an offensive prowess behind the plate, but Burns has also had his fair share. I'm sure if you looked at the numbers, I'll pull it up here in just a minute, but I'm sure his on-base percentage is pretty high for the amount of at-bats that he's garnered.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough to get in a rhythm when you're kind of a every-other-day type player. But Peter Burns, one of these guys that seems to make the most of every at-bat. So does Bender, but Peter Burns really works counts. With Colton Bender, he gets up there. He's kind of looking for a hit. That's how I feel when Colton Bender's at the plate. When Peter Burns is up there, he's looking to have a good AB. I mean, obviously Colton Bender's looking to have a good AB too, but Peter Burns is more, often the guy to work the count a little bit more. Take a few pitches, see what's coming to him, and go from there. Colton Bender, he gets up there, he's ready to go. First strike he sees, first couple strikes, he's gearing to go. He's looking for a hit.
Harvey Shapiro put on a hit and run there with Peter Burns running on that first pitch. Goodwin skies the second one out of play, foul. So no balls and 2 strikes.
Who did you give the thumbs up to? Was that Calvin?
That was to Calvin.
I thought you were giving the thumbs up to Harvey Shapiro. Like, hey, good call on the hit and run. I was like, my goodness. What?
It's just that broadcast manager connection.
I guess. I was like, when did that connection
Although
get
you have the connection with Coach Shapiro.
Share some geographic roots, I guess.
You do.
So.
You do indeed. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Goodwin watches that high. I was talking about Nick Goodwin's impressive last few games. 4 for 6. He had that 2-hit game against Orleans. Didn't start. Obviously came in as a defensive replacement against Falmouth in the 9th. And then 2 for 2 so far today.
He's looking real good.
2 RBIs as well.
Looking really good.
He had that little slide where he was 1 for 15 in the middle of the season
That's
after starting
happen,
red hot. Oh, yeah, but obviously that's baseball.
Exactly. It depends how you bounce out of it.
And
every guy's going to go
quite
through
well.
it. He's done quite well, especially for a young guy, too. You'd love to see that.
The pitch is piling up here for Meyer. 2-2 count.
And that's what scouts like to see, too, because they know every guy out here is going to go in a slump. They know every guy that they're looking at drafting is going to go into a slump. How do you respond in a slump? And Nick Goodwin's done a very good job of responding.
Seems like everyone but Rylan Thomas over in Orleans has only one that hasn't really slumped thus far.
Yeah.
Talk about one of the league's leading hitters.
What's he? He's still over 500? Or 400, sorry.
Quite impressive. I'll have to pull up the league stats here. Have it right here with me. We'll say, though, the Wi-Fi, here we go. Rylan Thomas, 19 for 44, 432 average.
Yeah, he's still over 400.
Still over 400. You got Colin Davis and Brewster, who leads the league at 12 stolen bases. And also second in the league, 21 for 50 at the plate. He leads the league in base hits.
I could do better than that. Come on now. No, I definitely could not. Before anyone quotes me on that, I definitely could not. There's a reason we're on this side of things now.
13 actually for Colin Davis. He had 1. Are these live stats, or do they get updated after every night?
I have no idea.
I'm not sure either. I know Brewster, I believe they just beat Katuitt. Which is a big win for at least us in the division. As Nick Goodwin is now 3 for 3. Peter Burns will take a slight turn, head back, and put it in park over at second. But Nick Goodwin, stay hot, kid. Braves have runners at first and second, maybe some 2-out magic, and they turn it back to the top here. And Joe Lampe, who is having his 4th at-bat here, and we're in the 5th inning.
I mean, he's on pace for like
7 or 8 at-bats. The Braves are 1 hit away from tallying double digits in the hit column. They have 6 runs on 9 hits.
I mean, this is what they needed, man. I mean, this is really what they needed, because you look at this team, they had been stymieing. Is that even a word?
Stymied? Stymied. That's a word.
Something.
Slowed down. Stymied, yeah.
Yeah, all right, there we go. They'd be
Joe Lampe. Bunt, but right back to Meyer. He'll toss it over to first, where the first baseman Huff said, "Do I have the ball?" Yes, I do. So that'll take care of the Braves here in this half of the bottom of the 5th. Nick Galley, thanks for joining us.
Of course.
We get set to send things down to our own Calvin Cristoforo. And Calvin, obviously, the Braves' base running has been such a key cog for them. Over the course of the season, Joe Lampe and Christian Knapczyk, and now Colby Thomas has been active on the base pass. A few more steals today, obviously Lampe and Colby Thomas. How important is it to be aggressive on the base pass to get these runners into scoring position to help score and get across these runs?
Double play ball. We saw Joe Lampe score from a second. So these teams, they're very fast. We know that, but they're using that speed to their advantage tonight against a YD team that's coming to the game as one of the best teams in the league, and their pitching staff has been very good. This Braves team knew how well the Red Sox pitched, so they're scoring runs today. Not flashy, no extra base hits tonight, but playing small ball and scoring a lot of runs with the aggressiveness on the base pass.
Great report, Calvin. Obviously, we know how important stealing bases is, Daniel, and there's no guy better at that on these Bravos than Joe Lampe. Really sets the table for this team at the top of the order.
Yeah, most certainly, and that's the guy you want at the 1 position. He has been so good, easily in the 300 mark for an average, but the stolen bases, again, is a story that has been developing, and I said this a couple of games ago, that I wanted to see more aggressive base running from Harvey Shapiro, and that's what we've gotten here today. Even with Colby Thomas getting on base, he was going the entire time. The pitcher knew it, we knew it, this crowd knew it, and he still got on. And, you know, it's forcing that catcher to make those throws and to be ready, and it rattles a bit the defenders as well as the pitchers. So I love that tactic that Harvey Shapiro is bringing today.
Well, even enacting the hit and run. Peter Burns obviously got on via the base on balls. Nick Goodwin first pitch. Burns was on the run. Goodwin was trying to hit it over to the right side, and you split the gap. Peter Burns can run well for a catcher, so potentially doing that as well. So you got to love the aggressiveness. Harvey Shapiro not afraid to send these runners, and he knows how successful they've been on the base paths. And at least just my opinion, I feel like catchers have had a hard time adjusting to throwing out base runners here, at least on Bourne Braves runners. I can't speak for the rest of the league. We'll get you some numbers on the Braves' stolen base statistics here early on this season.
I think in the name of the game, obviously right now for the Braves, is just to get out of these innings quick, you know. Make light work of it. Tristan Vreeling showed back in the top of the fifth that he can be a successful reliever. This second inning is going to be huge as far as how his outing is going to turn, and that's a high, deep one to left center.
Driven deep into center. Joe Lampe back on the warning track and settles under it. That is a long out, but it goes in the scorebook as an F8 one away.
As we were talking about his speed out there, he shows it again defensively. That is a long ways to be sent out, and Peyton Graham just couldn't get a hold of it and couldn't get it in the right direction. But again, that right field 300 mark is so shallow. We saw that at Spillane Field in Orleans, a 300 mark at the fence down the left field line. And if I remember correctly, it was 435 out at center, which is unheard of for dimensions.
434 out at Orleans, which is just unheard of. First pitch, or I should say first strike on the second pitch. 1-1 count here to Tanner Smith, who has driven in the only 2 runs for the YD Red Sox today. It was a 2-run double to right that brought in Drew Compton and Peyton Graham. That was in the third. Daniel, you were obviously downstairs when Nick joined us last inning, but he let us know that this crowd, you were right, 1,814 people in attendance. It breaks the opening day crowd of 1,704. How about that?
Unbelievable. Joe Lampe's underneath that one again, and you know, they're getting a good game here. 6-2. The Braves have really shown up for this crowd. Just really feels like a community effort tonight, and again, it's a perfect night for baseball. A weekend. Unfortunately, this will be the last Saturday night game that we have here at Dorn Park.
It will be.
Only one more Friday night game, so this could be one of the last times we see this big of a crowd. But the atmosphere here is just incredible. Very, you know, it almost feels Cape Cod-esque, the quintessential way that you imagine it. That's how it feels tonight.
That one sprayed foul. The remaining Friday game on the schedule that we have is July 30th when the Braves host the Brewster Whitecaps. Before that Saturday, the last day in July, they travel to the Wareham Gateman. That's a 6:45 start. 6 o'clock on Friday. First Brewster, the last Friday night game. A lot of weekday games remaining in this Braves schedule, though. If you can come out here and make it to a weekday 6 o'clock p.m. start, and all the Dorn Park start times. 0-2. A nice breaking ball there to Cody Huff. And dating back to the fifth, 3 consecutive flyouts to center for Tristan Vreeling. 0-2 here. And another breaking ball. They'll appeal down to first. And down there, they ring him up. So the appeal down there by Peter Burns, and Mark Furtado says that Cody Huff went around. Tristan Vreeling, 1-2-3 once again. What's new for the Gonzaga right-hander? We head to the home half of the 6th with the Braves comfortably leading by 4.
Nebraska. Number 31, Max Anderson.
Well, Max Anderson will try to make it on base 4 times in as many plate appearances. He comes up here to lead off the Braves in the bottom of the 6th. Bourne leading 6-2, where they have done it all tonight, both offensively and out on the mound. The combination of Austin Parsley and Tristan Vreeling have limited YD to just 3 hits tonight, although they have 2 runs on that extra base hit. As Anderson chops one deep in the hole at short, Ferraris has to hurry to get Anderson. It pulls Huff off the bag, and Max Anderson is going to reach. We'll see how this one scored. That was deep in the hole. A good throw likely would have gotten Max Anderson, but he nonetheless is aboard for the 4th time. It's ruled a base hit.
Yeah, you just stole the words right out of my mouth. 4 appearances to the plate, 4 appearances on the base path, and he's doing it every which way. Do they count that as an error or as a hit?
That was a base hit.
Good for him. Max Anderson with his 2nd hit of the day. 2 walks to start. 1st inning, 2nd inning walks. And 2 base hits back-to-back here.
Here is Dalton rushing. A slider that crosses the upper half of the zone. 0-1. Braves with 6 runs now, 10 hits, so double digits in the hit column today. Braves offense finally getting back on track at Doran Park. We love to see that as rushing chases that one. Change up, good pitch there from Meyer, who is still in this game.
The top half of this order and the bottom half, to say the least, has been incredibly effective. Rushing flew out in the 1st, singled back in the 2nd, and singled again in the 4th. These batters are getting to the plate often, and that's going to be another base hit.
Yeah, Rushing slaps that one into left, gets down in front of Smith, and the first 2 Bravos have reached on singles. Now 1st and 2nd here for Caden Wallace, looking to snap out of his 0-for-3 day at the plate and contribute offensively. Did allow a run to score on a double play ball he grounded into his last time. That'll do it, it looks like, for Meyer. Was hit up a bit against this Braves offense, but they have been rolling tonight. We'll tape out the new right-hander coming into the game for the YD Red Sox in just a few moments, right here from Doran Park. Reeves Jackson and Daniel Coates, happy to be back with you from Doran Park, where the Braves command a 4-run, 6-2 lead, with the sun going down right before 8 o'clock here, 10 minutes till. On the East Coast, new pitcher to tell you about, it is the right-hander from Northeastern. Daniel, someone who has a connection to you at that college, and it's Eric Yost, the right-hander.
Yeah, Eric Yost from Northeastern, and like Reeves was mentioning, my father, who is the head swim coach at Northeastern University, has always loved seeing a Husky, and we actually have a couple down here in the Cape League. Eric Yost being one of them. He is from Ossining, New York. He went to Fordham Prep. He was also seen in that Brewster game for the YD Red Sox. He had 1 inning pitched, 1 hit, 1 run allowed, and 1 man left on base. But in 2021 for the Huskies, 19 appearances, 4.57 ERA, a record of 1-2. Of course, the Huskies had one impressive season, winning the CAA in dramatic fashion, moving on to the regionals.
And Yost struggled a bit down here, 4 innings, 6 hits, 5 runs, 3 of those earned, a 6.75 ERA. As Cade Wallace spoils that one back over our heads. No balls and 2 strikes.
Another sticky situation for Yost to be in. First and second, no outs with a Braves team that already has a 4-run lead. How about that? Already 11 hits on the day. Feels like this lead should be more. We are in a comfortable position, but just feels like we should be up by far more.
Pickoff move that is dropped over there at second by Hoffman. Nothing and 2. That one bounces in front of the catcher, Cade Hunter. Good stop there. Nothing and 2. Turns to 1 and 2.
Another reason why the Huskies were so successful, obviously Yost, but he put out 12 scoreless appearances for the Huskies. He knows how to get out of the innings and put up a clean sheet.
One ball, 2 strike pitch, and Wallace fouls that one back into the screen. Count remains at 1 and 2. Wallace will be followed by Agnos, who is in the on-deck circle. Both Wallace and Agnos, a few of the Braves that are hitless so far today. Lampy has a hit. Anderson has a few. Dalton Rushing has 3. Rushing 3 for 4. 1-2 that Wallace watches miss in the dirt. Wallace and Agnos hitless. Knapcheck doesn't have a hit either, although one was questionable, was scored an E6. Colby Thomas is singled, Peter Burns is singled, and Nick Goodwin is 3 for 3.
And Nick Goodwin on pace to be player of the game. Our own Calvin Cristoforo, who we send it down to, has the honors of picking that individual. I think he might have gone.
Yep, home plate umpire there, and Ryan Damari rings up Caden Wallace. He goes down swinging, and there is 1 out.
I'm not going to say what is pending, but on deck will be Christian Knapcheck. So we will see him, bounce back a little. He had that E6. We thought it was going to be a hit, but Zach Agnos with 1 out, bottom of the 6th, I should say, against Yost, and he's throwing strikes, and he was ahead early against Caden Wallace there. Zach Agnos hasn't been able to make contact. He's 0 for, I believe yes, and that's true, 0 for 3 on the season for the ECU Pirate, coming off a 2 for 4 showing at Orleans, a triple and a double. And to finish the story that I started earlier, when he was on deck, Reeves and I at Spillane Field said, he started off with a triple, he started off with a double after that. He has the hardest parts of the cycle out of the way, and he actually came up to us after. He went 0 for 2 to finish the game, but he came up after us like, I heard that. Like, why do you guys have to say that? Come on. That's getting in my head. So we only mean the best for Zach.
Yes,
so.
Absolutely. Also, the Braves tie the Orleans Firebirds 2-2, in which Agnos had that 2-run triple to the gap in right center, and then later doubled on. 1 ball, 2 strikes here to Agnos. And he's going to line this one down the right field line, but it gets out of play. That right field wall in foul territory kind of sneaks up on you pretty quickly as far as how short it is out there. You think that some of these balls have a chance of getting down, and then they're 15, 20 feet into the woods beyond the right field fence line in foul territory.
Yeah, small flare could turn into a deep ball here with that 300 mark. Zach Agnos battling it off well here, though. He's been quiet this game, along with Caden Wallace. You know, that 4-5 is really the spot in the lineup tonight that hasn't produced as much as we actually thought. And, you know, coming into this game, I probably would have said I could see Caden Wallace, I could see Zach Agnos really having big days, but it's been the bottom half. Surprisingly, Nick Goodwin just picking up right where he left off in our first appearance to Gov Fuller Field in Falmouth. He's 3 for 3. How about the Kansas State kid?
Agnos rung up on a breaking ball outside corner. Agnos wasn't a fan of the call, but nonetheless, Agnos and Wallace's tough days at the plate continue, and there's 2 down. It's now 3 strikeouts on the day for Zach, and Christian Knapczyk on his way to the plate with runners on first and second after a leadoff infield single by Anderson, in which the throw pulled Huff off the bat. It was ruled a single. And Dalton Rushing single to left. Knapczyk shows bunt, but decides better off. It's 1-0.
Harvey Shapiro, more than any coach I've ever seen before, loves the bunt. He loves throwing it down. We saw that with Colton Bender the other night. He even gave Bender the sign to bunt with 2 strikes, and Bender popped it foul, and that did it for him. So, I mean, in Harvey Shapiro's defense, it does work most of the time. He has a very quick lineup here.
Knapczyk to the left center field gap. On the run is Williams. He dives, and it's off of his glove. Max Anderson is going to come in and score. Knapczyk on his way to second, and Dalton Rushing pulls into third. It is an RBI double for Knapczyk. And the hitting machine has now tied Joe Lampe with 15 for the team lead in hits.
15. How about that? Christian Knapczyk coming in. I was just about to say he's had a slow day. We thought he might have had a hit over there too short. He just put that right in the gap, and it looked like it was battling the wind. Williams put a good effort to grab that, but we have another run scored, 7-2. The Braves are back with the bats, and we have a 5-run lead, 12 hits. Holy moly.
Colby Thomas takes a fastball inner half. This is a Braves team that is second in the league in OPS at 753. 5 players on this roster coming into play today with Knapczyk, Lampe, Rushing, Wimmer, and Fedko with 10-plus hits on the roster, and 8 different players have hit a home run as Thomas swings through it. The Braves have 11 as a team. They've had 20 doubles and 2 triples. So 33 extra base hits through 14 games coming into action today, and they've added some more, especially with that Knapczyk double. 0-2, and Thomas whiffs and strikes out. But the Braves get a run, leave 2 on. Christian Knapczyk, an RBI double off of the diving Williams glove out there in center. And we head to the 7th with the Braves all over the YD Red Sox as reeling back on the mound in a 7-2 game. Braves. Jackson and Daniel Coates back with you with the Braves leading 7-2. Vreeling back out there for the top of the 7th. There's some action in the Braves bullpen, but this is all Tristan Vreeling's inning, looking to get through 3, complete 6 up and 6 down. He's got the 4, 5, and 6 as I turn things over to Daniel Coates.
Tristan Vreeling from the windup against Chase Luttrell. He's 0 for 2 on the day. First pitch drifts high, but Tristan Vreeling, as we mentioned earlier, Harvey Shapiro looking to put him into more of a reliever, maybe even look at a starting position. 1-0, drops to 2-0.
This is a guy in Chase Luttrell who is 0 for 2 today, but came into today's action against Bourne 5 for his last 8, and he had hit safely in 4 of his past 5 games with 3 runs scored.
And that's a hard hit line drive right to Goodwin. He snaps that in his glove for out number 1.
Well, almost extended that streak, but got a little unlucky.
So pending on the success, we may or may not see Luttrell again today, but Tristan Vreeling is really, we've mostly been used to seeing him in that ninth inning closing position, almost an Eric Adler-esque or Xavier Lovett-esque. And now he's looking like a true reliever coming off of Parsley, who pitched a heck of a game. Like you said, just one pitch that really was left out there. A breaking ball slapped down the right field line and for a 2 RBI double. Swing and a miss from the 5-spot hitter Ferreras. Vreeling with 13 strikes on 9 balls. 1.42 ERA coming into this. Swing and a miss, 1-2. An opportunity again to leave the Braves out there for just a short period of time. YD just hasn't been able to string things together ever since a few innings ago. Ground ball right up the middle. That's going to do it. Right there is Christian Knapczyk. Guns it over to Dalton Rushing. Out number 2. YD has not strung together an offensive performance in their half inning since the top of the 3rd. They put up 2 in response to the Braves putting up 4 in the bottom of the 2nd. Here comes Wyatt Hoffman, the second baseman. Vreeling still pitching from the windup, not what you want if you're the Red Sox. First pitch drifts high. Wyatt Hoffman, off of 13 games played, he has a .357 average. Really, really good stuff. 9-game hit streak coming into this game.
Yeah, obviously, with his father being Trevor Hoffman, quite a name to live up to. From Del Mar, California, out of Cathedral Catholic High School.
2 foul balls right in a row puts Tristan Vreeling in the driver's seat in this matchup. 6 for his last 13 coming into the game. He's 0 for 2 on the day, so the second baseman trying to get back on the base path. 1-2 just misses Tristan Vreeling, dealing from the windup now.
Yeah, as Wyatt Hoffman came into today's game with an 8-game hitting streak.
He's also scored a run
mentioned
in 5 consecutive games. Swing and a miss. Tristan Vreeling finishes off the top of the 7th. The Braves lead 7-2 as Sweet Caroline plays. This is a sweet performance so far from the Braves. We'll be back in just a few moments. Peter Burns in the 8th spot will lead off the bottom of the 7th. There is a new third baseman for the YD Red Sox, so we will tell you about that in just a second when we find out who that is. Flared foul. Peter Burns has been impressive on the day. He walked back in the 5th, singled in the 2nd, grounded to second in the 3rd.
Drew Bowser taking over at 3rd now for the Red Sox. Drew Bowser from Stanford, from Woodland Hills, California. So Stanford obviously made a College World Series appearance. So Bowser up now with the YD Red Sox and now coming in as a defensive replacement at 3rd.
Fly ball drifts foul to Peter Burns' delights. That one just drops right near a fan. People really need to be on focus here, especially in this crowded night here at Doran Park. On deck is the red-hot Nick Goodwin. Swing and a miss. Peter Burns goes down swinging for the first time tonight. Nick Goodwin up 3 for 3. Hard to add on to that performance that he's putting out tonight.
The second baseman from Kansas State, number 11.
The second baseman from Kansas State who has done it out there defensively. He snapped a line drive right at him at second base, and he's 3 for 3 on the day, so something really to hang your hat on for a kid who was struggling at the plate as of late. He takes a first pitch high, and Joe Lampe in the top of the order on deck. Weak ground ball right over there to Bowser, and he starts things off with a routine ground ball 3rd to 1st, and that will do it for Nick Goodwin. His first unsuccessful trip to the plate is the result of a second out in the bottom of the 7th. Joe Lampe in his, get this, his 5th appearance in the batter's box tonight. That's when you know the Braves are having fun.
Yeah, that's exactly how you know. Well, he had 4 and 5 innings.
Unbelievable.
Now 5th and a 7th, obviously, but yeah, he's enjoying a night.
1-1. The Braves defending a 5-run lead, looking to go to 11, 1-3 on the season. Again, incredible stuff, and Joe Lampe slaps one the opposite way and gets on base with a base knock. 2 outs, I should say, in the bottom of the 7th.
Now batting, the DH from the
Joe
University
Lampe
of Nebraska, number 31, Max Anderson.
Continuing this inning.
Yeah, he's a little bit of a whatever you can do, I can do better with Christian Knapczyk. He goes, oh, you want to tie me in team lead for hits? Okay, I'll take the lead right back. Now 16 for Lampe.
I wonder if they know that.
They have to.
Yeah,
they have to. I'll tell you what, players will tell you they don't look at their stats. I can tell you what, especially in the collegiate level, I promise you they do.
They most
promise
certainly.
You're only human.
They most certainly do.
Maybe in the major league level, you don't, because there's so much more pressure, you don't. Maybe I'll believe that, although I think you still do. Maybe there's some that will tune it out, but in the college level, I'm sorry, you're looking at your stats.
Hard hit ground ball right over there to Bowser. Can he beat Richards? Oh, and Anderson gets slapped with the tag. It goes out of his glove. Joe Lampe, no one's covering 3rd. He's going home. There's going to be a play at the plate. Joe Lampe evades the slap tag by Hunter. And Joe Lampe proving again why he is so deadly on the base path. He completely juked out Hunter at the plate and scores safely for run number 8. 8-2, the Braves lead off of a Max Richardson ground ball to 3rd. That was a wayward throw from Bowser to Huff. And the Braves slap on another run when 2 outs and the end of the inning was looming.
And it'll be scored in E6 over there. Max Anderson getting on base for a 5th time today. This one obviously via the air. But how about, it says E6, should be scored in E5. That was a throw from Bowser over there. But my goodness, Daniel. Talk about the speed of Joe Lampe. He never stopped running. Obviously, once that ball got out of the glove of Huff on the wild throw from Bowser, and then flew out of the glove and trickled into very shallow right field. And Joe Lampe, who was rounding second when it flew out of the glove, was on his way to third. He didn't even look at Coach Harvey Shapiro. He was just booking it to the plate. He thought he could beat it. He looked up and saw where the ball was. And then a nice throw to the plate there from, I believe it was Hoffman, who picked that ball up, the second baseman. Made a strike to the plate, and it was a good throw, and it was on target to Hunter. But Joe Lampe, who just did almost like a swim move, who drug that hand in and then swiped the plate and evaded that tag from Hunter. How about that? And there's now a pitching change on the mound. We'll tell you about that when we come back right here from Doran Park.
Now pitching for the Red Sox from the University of San Francisco, number 44, Sam Beck.
University of San Francisco product Sam Beck will take to the mound here at Doran Park and will face an 8-2 deficit where the Braves have taken hold of this game by 6 runs. He'll face Dalton Rushing. Sam Beck from San Francisco went to Rutgers Prep. He's going to try and stop the bleeding here for the YD Red Sox.
Well, he's got a tall task in Dalton Rushing, who's 3 for 4 at the plate. I wonder if Sam knows our social media content producer, Ellie Kokers, goes to the University of San Francisco. So pretty cool connection there. But for Sam Beck, 3 1/3 innings, 3 hits, 4 earned runs, 1 walk, and 1 strikeout, a 10.80 ERA. So looking to bring that down a bit here in this 2021 summer campaign. The Braves already putting another run across here, Daniel. They have scored in every frame except for 2, in the first and in the 5th. Although you could argue they should have scored in the first when they had runners on the corners and 1 out.
Well, I'll tell you this. What a hard hit ball by Dalton Rushing. That's going to drop and hit the fence. Taking the turn is Anderson is held up, and Dalton Rushing 4 for 5 on the day after that bomb of a double. Advances Anderson to third, and he will stay atop of second. And Caden Wallace steps up with an opportunity. And I was going to say, in the first inning when 2 men, 1 at first, 1 at third, were left on base, I said, oh boy, is this going to be the same story? Is this going to be the same Braves we've actually seen the last 7 or 6 games who have been leaving men on base? But that is not the Braves that showed up. And ever since that first inning, they have been lights out at the plate.
Yeah, and
14 hits to 3 hits on the day. That one had the distance but didn't have the accuracy. It drops foul.
Yeah, we talked about, you said that Nick Goodwin would be your player of the game. Well, I think Dalton Rushing has made a great case for himself. 4 for 5 day, 3 singles and a double. And Rushing, who has 2 RBIs to his credit as well.
Sam Beck getting himself into some trouble early on, 0-1. Swing and a miss from Wallace. That's 0-2 after a hard hit foul ball just before. Bottom 7, we will go to the top of the 8th. We have word that we will see for the very first time Cade Smith from the bullpen. The 0-2 chops right into the chest pad of Hunter.
Yeah, I'm excited to see Cade Smith. Hopefully, if he comes along, joining Xavier Lovett, although Cade Smith was in Omaha as a newly crowned national champion. I saw him walk into the ballpark the other day for the first time on Wednesday, and I was almost taken aback, like, I'm in the presence of a national champion. Pretty cool stuff, though. It really is.
2-2, and that's the same way. It was so cool when Xavier Lovett came in against that home game here at Durham Park against Brewster. And you could, and our own Will Hunchel, who's on the PA, announced that while he was pitching that his team had won a national championship. I mean, you can imagine he was so excited after when we talked to him. Foul ball again. It's just really cool to see, he now joining is his teammate Cade Smith, but again, you're in the presence of a national champion from Omaha. They beat Vanderbilt, which is an ultimate powerhouse like themselves.
Yeah.
Likes of Kumar, Rocker, and Leiter. So for them to get that done is absolutely incredible.
Yeah, the first national championship. I think you mentioned this on air, but of
in
any.
their entire program of any team sport, which is pretty shocking when it comes to Mississippi State. You would assume SEC school, they must, they must have
any
something.
Sport,
yeah,
and any collegiate athletics they have, but they hadn't.
Men's and women's.
It was that game. It was Harwich that Xavier Lovett came in. It was the lightning delay at Harwich, and
that just gets foul. A frozen rope drops a bit too far to the left. Caden Wallace walloped that ball down the third base line.
Yeah, he sure did, man. He gave that one. He smoked that ball. But unfortunately, just a little foul down that left field line.
Wallace on the day, struck out in the first, popped up to the third baseman back in the second. That's a hard hit line drive. Will it get down? It does. Scoring is Anderson. Here comes Dalton rushing to the plate. He's going to slide. He's going to score. Caden Wallace sends home 2, and the Braves now hold a 10-2 lead in the bottom of the 7th, and Sam Beck is getting lit up in the latter half of this game. The Braves make it to double digits.
Caden Wallace finally gets in the hit column here on the day, as Braylon Wimmer going to pinch it here for Zach Agnos. But Caden Wallace off the end of the bat just blooped it into center, and it fell short of the new center fielder in the game. Don't quite have a number on that. Williams now out of the game for YD, but great job.
First pitch swinging, that's a blooper. I think it's going to get down into fair territory. It just drifts right and foul.
Oh, man, I thought that was getting down in fair territory, too.
Sam Beck gets the first strike the hard way. Caden Wallace with a 2 RBI single right in shallow center. Braylon Wimmer digs in. Ground ball right over there to Bowser. And that's going to do it. So the Braves put up 3 runs in what looked like an inning that was for sure going to be a scoreless inning for the Braves. They get 3, and the lead now is 10-2. And really, the reason why we are in this position is most certainly the bats, but also the pitching staff. The pitching staff has taken a blow with the departures of Gordon Graceffo, Nick Zawak, and now Peter Van Loon. And I'm going to send it down to you, Calvin. How are the Braves going to garner rotations and really for Harvey Shapiro to figure out who is going to be those new starters, who is going to be those guys for him coming in? And we've already seen that Parsley might be that guy. So what do you think is going to, what it's going to take to really fill those voids that Graceffo, Nick Zawak, and Peter Van Loon are leaving us with?
Well, Daniel, that's a good question, and it's something we've talked about a lot so far this season. I don't really know the answer, but we're getting hits at it. Of course, Austin Parsley making his first start of the season tonight. I thought Tristan Vreeling would be one of those guys who made a start, but obviously he's back out of relief tonight once again. Ben Etheridge going to get his first start on Monday against Hyannis. So him, along with Taylor, will continue to get some starts for this Braves team. No Zwack, no Graceffo. It hurts. No Peter Van Loon either. But this bullpen has done such a great job this season. I'm not sure how big the drop-off will really be.
Tristan Vreeling on the mound for the 4th inning of this game. And, you know, I have to imagine that Harvey Shapiro is looking at this, putting Tristan Vreeling back into his 4th inning pitched as almost an experiment to see, can he be effective as a starter?
Yeah, absolutely. I know that they're trying to stretch him out a little bit more. But also when you think about what Vreeling has done thus far today, Daniel, 9 up and 9 down. So looking, I mean, it's exactly what he did against the Wareham Gatemen in his last outing on July 4th. So, but I think it's a good point what you just said.
First pitch, line drive right to Joe Lampe for out number 1.
Also, I don't think I've ever seen a pitcher get as many flyouts to center field as Vreeling has gotten this outing. That's now 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 4. I thought it was 5.
Joe Lampe's been quite busy today in the batter's box and out there in center field. 3 hits to 15 in favor of the Braves. If I'm doing the math, it's 500% more. Just quick,
why you went to Boston College.
Quick math for a communications major at the top of my head. That breaking ball drops in the zone.
You got to be good at math to go to BC, right? At least some point in your life.
You have to take one class. It was a class called Ideas in Mathematics.
Doesn't sound too hard.
It was.
I had to take trigonometry.
Oh.
Got a B. Take that.
That puts a sour taste in my mouth just thinking about that.
Ugh.
0-2 quickly here to Cade Hunter.
Got a fun fact for the audience listening after this pitch. But our own Calvin Christopher, who has done a fantastic job in his 3 hits today down at the Braves dugout, is a journalism major at Syracuse in the famed Newhouse School of Journalism. But I bet you couldn't guess what his minor is. Now you're probably thinking it's on the line of numbers, and, well, yeah, we were just talking about it. His minor, mathematics. So, Calvin, I don't know how you do it, my man.
See, I was a communications major and a journalism minor, which are about one and the same if you really think about it. Those are 2 completely different fields.
Yeah.
I don't know how he knows. He knows a lot about, or knows a little about a lot, I guess.
Yes.
But if you're going to be studying that in college, I don't think that phrase really is up to snuff.
No, exactly. And then we have our own Nick Galley, who's been on the air twice today. What a weird check swing that was there from Cade Hunter.
Almost turned into a bunt that he just sprayed the other way.
Well, it's actually Nate Baez pinch hitting here for Cade Hunter, so we'll see a new catcher behind the plate. But Nate Baez in a 10-2 game, Daniel, here getting to pinch hit.
We saw that Nate Baez was available for today. 1-2, high fly ball that's going to get out of fair play. 1-2 it remains with 1 out in the top of the 8th.
Yeah, but Nick Galley, a journalism major and criminal law minor. So that's pretty interesting to hear from Nick. Myself, I'm a journalism major, sport management minor. Oh, definitely want to be in the sports world, and that's why we're here.
2-2, and really the cool thing about the Cape League is, as much as obviously these players want to get into the sports world, of course, in the professional sports realm, so too do you and I and these interns, and it's just a collective effort to really work on our craft down here in the Cape for a summer, and there's no better place to do it than here at Doran Park. A full count and a payoff pitch coming for Tristan Vreeling. 1 out.
And as competitive as it is, obviously, with everyone trying to succeed in their own right, it's also a collective effort.
Swing and a miss, and a payoff pitch pays off for Tristan Vreeling. Out number 2. Baez, first appearance, strikes out swinging.
Obviously, I came into this internship in this league knowing a few other University of Georgia broadcasters, the 2 over in Cotuit and one of the guys at Wareham. I do broadcasting with the Georgia, but even the collective ones outside of that, it's cool seeing everyone share their game notes and their season notes and the prep they've done, just to make things easy and to, you know, collaborate and just be a team effort to really smooth along the process of how to broadcast these games and trying to bring the best product to the audience listening at home.
1-0, 1-1 after a foul tip sends the ball right back into the net.
Yeah, Drew Bowser, who entered the game over at third, hitting in the 9th spot now.
So Drew Bowser like Nate Baez with his first appearance at the plate. 2 foul balls in a row gives Tristan Vreeling the advantage.
Bowser in 2021, a true freshman at Stanford, we mentioned. And all he did was hit .302, started 50 games, went 60 for 199, 30 runs scored, hit 16 doubles, homered 7 times, and drove in 41 for one of the best programs in the nation.
Unbelievable. Impressive stuff from Bowser.
Went to Harvard-Westlake. And if you're familiar with Harvard-Westlake, a few major league pitchers out of Harvard-Westlake, including Max Fried, Lucas Giolito, and Jack Flaherty. And they were all in the rotation together when they were in high school. You got 3 All-Stars in the rotation. I say your high school team probably won a state championship. Your guess, yes, they did.
Yeah. Well, Peter Burns just got his mask flown off of a pitch that was well short from Tristan Vreeling. And Bowser on the season is 0 for 12, so really hasn't corresponded here. Maybe it's that metal to wood bat transition that they make from the College World Series, and then they travel down here. It's all a whirlwind, so it's hard to really judge these guys off a handful of games. 2-2 in this 4th foul ball of this matchup.
Our camera's getting beat up a little bit behind there today.
I know.
Earlier, if you saw a hand,
we got that little string coming down. We didn't plan on that.
No. Earlier today, if you saw a hand on the camera for a brief moment, our own Megan Heyer had to go adjust the camera and the great work that she and our entire production team do.
High fly ball, that's in foul territory, and it's unplayable. 2-2, it remains. 5 foul balls here from Drew Bowser.
Yeah, kid can fight and stay alive. He hit .500 with 22 ribbies, 3 homers in 10 games during his senior year. 10 games and you have 22 RBIs? Get out of here.
That 2-2 is skied into center field. Joe Lampe backtracks. He's under it, and he's got it. How about Joe Lampe out there in center field? I mean, he must be responsible for 33% of the fielding tonight? Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, five of the 12 outs that Tristan Vreeling got today consecutively were Joe Lampe fly balls.
Get Joe Lampe in the ice bath quick, someone please. That will do it. Tristan Vreeling impressively finishes off his 4th inning. We might see Cade Smith, but we're going to go to the bottom of the 8th with what could be the last opportunity for the Braves to add to their 10-2 lead. The Braves hold an 8-run lead and an 8-run advantage here at Doran Park.
Now batting for the Braves. Number 35, Braylon Moylan. Joshua Moylan.
Joshua Moylan, as if you could hear over the PA, they said Braylon Moylan. That'll put your head in a pretzel if you're a Braves fan. First pitch from Sam Beck, who remains in the game. This is Joshua Moylan coming off a game against the Falmouth Commodores that he was a huge part in that 4-2 victory. He had a 2-run RBI single over there between third and short, and Harvey Shapiro thought, why not? What the heck? I'm going to put him in. We have a 10-2 lead, and he can add on and maybe continue the momentum carrying over from the Falmouth Commodores matchup.
Yeah, that infield single that just deflected off of the glove of Falmouth shortstop Cody Colden. Went behind him. Braylon Wimmer ended up scoring that go-ahead run. Braves never looked back, tacked on another on a rushing sac fly in the 8th, and took it to a divisional matchup by a score of 4-2.
2-1 turns to 2-2. Beck hits the zone off Moylan.
Yeah, we do know that game went final over in Cotuit. Brewster with a 5-3 win over the Kettleers.
We always like to hear that.
Another chance to gain another game.
2-2 chopped and missed by Moylan. That's going to do it. Sam Beck strikes out the first Bourne Brave he sees.
And then, obviously, over in Hyannis, we'll get an updated score for you. Last we checked, it was top of the 8th, 4-0 Wareham there in the bottom of the 9th. The Gatemen trying to close out Hyannis, leading 4-2 now.
The 0-0 from Thomas, swing and a miss. 1 strike and 1 out. Bottom of the 8th, Thomas on the day had that stolen base off a single in the 3rd. Other than that, he's been quiet, flown out twice, both to right field, and struck out in his last appearance in the 7th. He faces a 1-1 knotted count.
Our opponent tomorrow night went down to Harwich, Chatham, losing 7-5 at White House Field.
Another fly ball, but it's in foul territory. It will move to 1-2. So a beautiful night here at Doran Park. You can see from the flag out there in the distance, the wind still is blowing to the right. First time in this season that we've really noticed that, and it was a beautiful sunset behind him, so ideal scenario for baseball. A fly ball from Colby Thomas's bat right to center. It drifts to the right, and that will be, again, another fly ball for Colby Thomas. The center fielder ends it, 2 outs.
From Boston College, number 12, Peter Burns.
Peter Burns steps in now. The Boston College kid. There may be a pitching change, and I think we will see it with the meeting at the mound here. We're going to tell you all about that new pitcher when we come back. My name is Daniel Cokes. Alongside me, Reeves Jackson. We're still in the bottom of the 8th, 2 outs. Same inning here in the bottom of the 8th. We join you again, but a new pitcher, Reeves.
Yeah, Ryan Patel, who is actually making his first appearance of this 2021 summer season, a St. Louis Billiken.
Our Calvin Cristoforo would love that. He is huge huge on all of these nicknames and mascots. First pitch fouled by the Boston College kid right towards us and into the net. Strike number 1. An 0-1 count on a crisp, cool Bourne, Massachusetts night.
This is so fitting. Nick and I were talking about this, Daniel, when he came on the air with me. I said, Peter Burns, for the amount of at-bats that he's had, how many times he gets on base is, to me, seems like an extremely high amount. And I was like, I'm willing to bet you his on-base percentage is one of the highest on the teams. And Nick was like, oh, maybe so. Well, obviously the Wi-Fi wasn't cooperating at the time. I now have it up, obviously with Burns at the plate. Brilliant time to bring it up. Peter Burns leads his team in on-base percentage at .476. For the amount of at-bats, obviously, he doesn't have the sample size of some of these other players like Dalton Rushing or Caden Wallace or Joe Lampe or Christian Knapczyk. Whereas, obviously, their on-base percentage is going to be lower because in more at-bats, you're not going to get on as much as someone who has 17, 18 at-bats. But for what Peter Burns has done, obviously, he's splitting time with Colton Bender. He walks so much. He gets on base. He's gotten another base hit tonight. I believe he's now hitting 4 straight that he started. So Peter Burns, incredible job of just being a smart catcher behind the plate, and then offensively at the plate, he knows how to get on base.
Really impressive stuff from a kid that I watched this entire spring broadcasting for Boston College and their student-run sports radio, WZBC Sports, and he was, you could tell, as he is the heart and soul of this team, he too was the heart and soul of the Eagles baseball team. They call it BC Bird Ball. Fun atmosphere there at Harrington Athletics Village. He faces a 2-2 now. Fouled again, right into the crowd. There go the kids running after it.
Souvenir for
a lucky fan.
Yeah, who gives it to one of the kids. How nice. How nice. Gotta love to see it. And gets a fist bump to boot.
All these little humans, 3-foot or under, just scurrying after a foul ball. That's what kids' night here at Dorn Park is all about. 2-2. Swing and a miss. That's going to do it. The Braves might have and most likely had their last batter, Peter Burns, finish things off. We're going to go to the top of the 9th. We're going to see a new pitcher most likely, but hoping to keep this score the same. 10-2, the Braves are on top.
We head to the top of the ninth inning. Reeves Jackson and Daniel Coates, where we have a newly crowned national champion closing us out. Welcome to the team, Cade Smith, making his first appearance here with the Bourne Braves. Cade Smith, a 6'2", 190-pound freshman this past year from DeSoto Central High School from South Haven, Mississippi. Looking to close things out for the Braves. An excuse-me swing over there by Peyton Graham. That goes foul, but Cade Smith was in Omaha, unlike Xavier Lovett, but Xavier obviously with not as much time on the hill as Cade Smith. Cade Smith was actually appeared in the College World Series, but at his time at Mississippi State, it was 2-0, a 3.48 ERA, 10 1/3 innings, so not too much time, but 4 earned runs, 14 strikeouts, and just 6 walks, Daniel, but an opponent's average of 158.
Yeah, he definitely had that closing reliever spot. That is a deep drive towards the pole.
And Colby Thomas trying to track it down in the corner. The screen cuts it off. That ball landed in foul territory, close to the wall. Thomas was almost able to get to it, but
I think any normal day where the wind is blowing from the plate out towards that left field pole, I think that might be a home run.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think, Cade Smith took over that quick reliever, closer role from Mississippi State in the few appearances that he had, the 6 that he had this past season. There's a swing and a miss.
Yeah, the ball gets by Peter Burns. Running down to first is Graham. Burns has to hurry, but will not have a chance. So Cade Smith does what you want to do. And the first batter you face here in the Cape, he strikes out Graham, but Graham aboard on a drop third.
But I wonder if Cade Smith is going to be alongside Eric Adler, maybe replacing Tristan Vreeling, who's moving up in the bullpen, trying to be more of a reliever, maybe even a starter. But Cade Smith looks like he's going to be mostly seen in those ninth inning situations like we have on our hands right here.
Pitch misses downstairs here to Tanner Smith, responsible for the 2 runs driven in today. But yeah, that's a good point. Obviously, Daniel, that was a great point you mentioned there, as this one is watched downstairs. But obviously the fact of guys like Vreeling, who could potentially be joining the rotation. We saw Austin Parsley, who made his first start tonight. Even Cole Chidoba is expected to get a spot start, and maybe if he performs well, to have him stick in the rotation. This one bounced over to third. Anderson looking to turn it around the horn, over to Wimmer for 1, on to first, rushing, can't scoop it out. As heading to second now, Peter Burns chucks it on down to Wimmer. That goes into left field, and now coming to third here is Smith, the throw, and that deflects off of Tanner Smith. Like Little League Baseball out here in the Braves outfield and infield. But Cade Smith will pick it up. There is one away.
And the ironic part about that is that all 2 throws that the Braves had to get this base runner were great looks, and they were ahead. How about that from Tanner Smith, making it all the way over? That is astounding stuff.
Well, I think that play is going to be credited with 2 errors. Well, definitely 1. It's going to be an E4 on Wimmer. It might just be the 1 alone. Although you usually would have a second error to decide how that runner would advance to third. They do. There you go. 2 errors. So it's going to be an E4 on Wimmer and an E2 on Peter Burns, as the 1-0 is popped out of play. So if you're Cade Smith, you're like, man, I'm doing everything right and I can't catch a break. I struck out the first hitter. He reached first. I get a double play ball. The guy's at third.
And Nick Goodwin there at second base. I think he had more time than he realized.
It was Wimmer that came in. Wimmer now at second.
Wimmer, excuse me. I was going to say, Nick Goodwin looks a little different over there. But Wimmer, I think Wimmer had a bit more time than he thought to get Tanner Smith there at first, and that is what caused that wayward throw.
1-2, this one tapped over to third. Max Anderson coming in, makes the scoop and delivers over to Rushing. Run will score. It's an RBI ground out there for Cody Huff. And the Red Sox get another run. It's 10-3. As the final hope here tonight with the bases clear, it is Chase Luttrell, 0 for 3 tonight. And Cade Smith looking to get Luttrell and send the YD Red Sox home packing. And if that's the case, is that first pitch strike delivered here to Luttrell, obviously, from Long Beach State, out of San Clemente, California. 0-1, fouled back to the screen. And now, Daniel, the Braves are 1 strike away from improving to 11-1-3 on the season, gaining a game on the Katuitt. Kettleers bounced right off of the glove of Smith. He turns around, fielded here by Tanner Schobel, who now is into the game at shortstop, but that'll get up the middle. Obviously, that ball probably would have found the middle infield, but talk about an unlucky
Cade
night.
Smith, boy, baptism by fire here, huh? I mean, this kid's doing everything he has to. He almost snagged that one right back at him, but it's just unfortunate to have one run let up on you when he's doing everything right.
As Briley Knight right over to Dalton Rushing, and the Bourne Braves have either beaten or tied every single team in the Cape Cod League here in 2021. They do it by beating the YD Red Sox by a final score, Daniel, of 10-3, in a night in which the offense was clicking on all cylinders. 10 runs on 15 hits, including a 4-hit day for Dalton Rushing.
Unbelievable. And, let's talk about the bats. The pitching was stellar. Austin Parsley, Tristan Vreeling coming in. Caden Smith, of course, just with a bit of lack of luck there.
Yes, safe to say.
But a great outing from him as well, the national champion. How about this? 15 hits against 4. That's what's going to win you games. That's what puts it to double digits. We haven't seen double digits, I don't believe, since Falmouth.
Yeah, I believe you're correct. I believe you're correct.
And so, a 13-8 game against Falmouth that we won. But again, we make it to 11 wins here to start things up. 11-1-3. Get that?
Unreal.
11-1-3. That is unbelievable. Everyone down this order and down this lineup performed tonight in some capacity. And like we were saying earlier, Nick Galley and our own Joe Sullivan, our social media intern, said he's never seen a team like this. And all the time that they've been involved in the Cape League, that has gelled so quickly than this team. And you can tell, when you string together 15 runs in a lineup with all the guys from different programs and a guy who is appearing for the first time from a national championship program, and they get the win 10-3, 15 hits. I mean, what else can you ask for here at Doran Park?
Yeah, you can't ask for much more. Dalton Rushing, who'd probably be your lead candidate for player of the game. Rushing today went 4 for 5. He had 4 singles, a double, and a run scored, as well as multiple RBIs for Rushing. Had that 2-run single back early on in the game in the second inning when the Braves broke through with 4 in the second. They also scored 3 in the 7th, the 2 crooked numbers they put up. And they put up a whole heck of a lot of ones on the scoreboard as well in multiple innings. But Max Anderson, another guy, Daniel, he got on base all 5 times. 2 were via walks, 2 were via hits, and 1 was, although via an error, he was still close to beating that play out at first if it obviously wasn't for the throw that pulled the first baseman Huff off the bag. But talk about what Max Anderson has meant to this team. Obviously, with 2 more hits today, now double-digit hits on the season for Anderson, a guy who's only – a few hits off the team lead, and he's been there for not even maybe half the games.
His 7th game, and he's already at that 12-hit mark, which is unbelievable. And, Joe Lampe, like you were saying, him and Knapczyk are really going back and forth with that lead. But Max Anderson has come in here and cemented himself in this lineup immediately, and we expected that. That's what we expected when Reggie Crawford left. Caden Wallace has been a little quiet as of late, but Max Anderson coming in as a Cornhusker and doing what he's doing, we're getting used to seeing him put up 2 to 3 hits every game. And then when we say he has a slow day, he's maybe 1 for 4 or 2 for 5. And
he's getting on base.
I mean, today he was stellar. Again, a couple of those hits were the reason why we got to 15 hits, and the Braves get another win. And there's really, we sound like broken records because it's just the same thing over and over again. The Braves come out here and play great baseball here at Doran Park on Kids Night at Saturday night. What's better than this than being able to call a team that can put up double digits on a nightly basis?
Yeah, well, someone had to fill the roles of Kyler Fedko once Fedko left that two-hole. Obviously, True. Fedko not appearing today, expected to be drafted in the MLB draft. We wish nothing but the best for Kyler Fedko. But Max Anderson, who moved up into that two-hole for the first time this season and immediately made an impact, obviously was seen at that 3 spot. But Max Anderson has potentially found himself a home in the two-hole. Obviously, we'll probably see Knapczyk in the two-hole. He might flip-flop. Obviously, Christian Knapczyk found a lot of his success early on in the season in the 2 spot. But however this Harvey Shapiro lineup is constructed, we know they have the ability of doing this, 10 runs on 15 hits on a nightly basis. And, Daniel, my final point I want to bring up to you is Tristan Vreeling. I mean, 12 batters faced tonight. He retired all 12. And then the other night at Wareham on July 4th, he faced 9 batters and retired all of them in order. So you look at it, the past 21 batters for Tristan Vreeling, he's retired them all without allowing one to reach base, not via a walk, not via a base hit. As Tristan Vreeling extended out to 4 innings tonight, has really made a strong case to garner a start in this Braves rotation that has seen them lose 3 pitchers.
Most certainly, and he's a super talent out there. You can tell when he's clocking in at upper 90s. That is really impressive stuff, especially at his age. So for him, the Gonzaga Bulldog coming in, when we need a pitcher and when we're in a pressure situation, I want Tristan Vreeling out there on the mound. Like you said, he's put down 12 tonight, and the 12 that he faced, there's nothing really more to say. The stats speak for himself. Oftentimes they don't, but he was special out there on the mound today. And again, I would say that he's up there for player of the game as well.
Well, the Braves piece it together tonight with 3 pitchers. Austin Parsley started. He went 4 innings. He obviously gave up the double to Tanner Smith. And then it was 4 innings for Tristan Vreeling. He picks up the win tonight, and Cade Smith closes the door. Allows a run, but had some luck go against him. But nonetheless, the Braves improved to 11-1-3. Will go on the road for 3 consecutive games, including tomorrow night's matchup at 7 o'clock at Chatham for the first time all season. We're excited for that at Veterans Field, one of the more highly known and renowned parks in the Cape Cod Baseball League. And then we have 3 in a row with Hyannis, believe it or not, almost like a Major League Baseball weekday set. We play 2 at McKeon Park before returning home on Wednesday night to face those same Hyannis Harbor Hawks, who are laboring it now at 2-12 at the basement of the division after losing tonight to the Wareham Gatemen. But the Braves improved to 11-1-3. They lead the Western Division and they lead the Cape Cod Baseball League in a battle of 2 top-place teams in each division. The Braves take this battle with the YD Red Sox tonight by a final score of 10-3. For Daniel Coates and our entire production team of Megan Heyer and everyone over in the press box, my name is Reeves Jackson. We look forward to bringing you your audio-only broadcast for the next 3 nights on the road before returning home right here to Dorn Park on Wednesday night. Until then, we say goodnight and take care.